Yay! Yeah, that was the one thing I hated when living with my dad is that since Daybreak had the unique contract with CenturyLink, we had to deal with them, and whenever we had a problem, we both just wanted to because we couldn't even call regular CenturyLink. They had like this devoted team that didn't exist, and so basically anytime we had a problem, we play phone tag and get bounced around CenturyLink. Which is like F these guys. That's why I'm a very proud owner of Comcast, and I know that pisses people off. So, welcome everyone, because we are live, and
Oh,
I actually need to turn you guys up. Alex, can you talk for me really quick?
Hey, how do I sound? Do I sound okay?
Yeah, it's good.
Good.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I forgot to tell Brenton about this. We actually kind of instituted a pre-show. And so at that point, like I'm setting things up, but I'm letting people be able to talk to us if they want to. And then we
okay.
can start up the show proper. But yeah. So
Since this is all
CenturyLink sucks.
pre-show. Oh yeah, since this is all pre-show, one, I would have had my face cam. However, I left it at work, and I realized that while I was in the middle of Pokemon Legends, and I was like, "Oh, cool. I guess you'll just have to look at a picture of me
Okay,
that I took last summer."
I have to tell this story now because you both will appreciate it. So our copy of Pokemon Legends, literally, I shit you not, like this is the irony of Amazon sometimes. I had just barely gotten back from Cottonwood to take my daughter to therapy, and we got home, and I had just barely sat them down to dinner, and all of a sudden, knock, 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 and this is when our copy of Pokemon Legends came, and so I pick it up and I take it out of the package, and immediately, my oldest Aria just is freaking out. She's like, "Yee!" Because she likes I'm guessing she likes the cover art. And so I give it to her, and then I think like, okay, well after dinner she'll be fine, and she'll want her tablet again, so she'll be okay with it, with me taking it. So I take her upstairs and I actually try to take it, and she gives me the hardest tug of war I've ever seen her do so far. And as soon as I finally got it away from her, um, whenever she's frustrated now, she sings the ABCs. So she immediately starts hopping off to her room, going A, B, C, D, E, F, and she's like Super Saiyan. So she'll slowly get louder as she goes along. It's the cutest thing ever, but you have to try and not laugh. So it's like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And so I'm just like, I'm giggling, but I'm like, okay, well, I could fix this really quick. And I take the game out so that we can put it in Andrea's Switch to update for tomorrow. And I give her the cover back, and she's instantly happy again. She wants nothing to do with her Amazon tablet. She just wants the box.
That's cute.
So, yeah. So I had to call Andrea, and I'm like, I have bad news, Andrea. What? It's about Pokemon Legends. It came, right? Yeah, except it's not yours. What? It's Aria's now. And she's like, what? I'm like, it's Aria's now. And I explained the whole situation to her. She's like, did you just give her the game? Or did you just give her the box? She just wants the box. I'm like, yeah, I did that. She's like, aw, that's still so cute. And she's still got the
sounds
biggest...
like you're not.
She's still got the biggest smile walking around with that Switch cover. So...
Well, it sounds like you won't be streaming it, so instead you can watch me.
Yay!
I'm super kidding.
No.
I am not set up to stream, and
no,
like I said,
it's up.
I'm on CenturyLink, so.
Yeah, I would not recommend streaming on CenturyLink. That's just my personal opinion. People are free to disagree with it if they want, but you know, I'm still right. So,
I mean, oh my lord, I wholeheartedly agree with you.
yes, there. I mean, for crying out loud, like when my dad passed, my brother had to deal with them because they made like a bunch of stupid claims. Like my dad was 6 months overdue on any bill payment to them. I was like, if they were 6 months, you would have shut us down. Like, there's no way that was 6 months back paid. And on top of that, all it took was like a couple of searches on my dad's documents to find that he was up to date on all of his payments. And then we got to do this was the best one with most of the bill collectors. They all said that they need a proof of death, which in some cases, no, they didn't. But they're like, yeah, we need to see the death certificate, so we'd send it to them. And then we wouldn't hear from them for 2 days. And they're like, yeah, we still need a death certificate. I'm like, we send it to you. Yeah, you need to send it this way. No, we send it to you this. It's like the dumbest thing of trying to get their money. So stupid. So yeah, fuck you, CenturyLink.
I know there was a lot of animosity with the collectors when my Uncle Sean had passed, and it was frustrating my mom and her sisters.
Yeah.
And pretty much they were like, well, it's going to ruin his credit. And my mom just very sassily goes, he's 6 feet under. Go for it.
There's no wrecking the credit at that point. I'm sorry, but his credit went heavenly, you might say.
Well, I hope his credit is immaculate on the other side.
Yeah,
definitely.
It has transcended. There you go.
I like that.
Yeah. His credit has transcended beyond this mortal coil. So, oh my gosh. So really quick, we do tend to do a pre-show story, and I have to bring this up to you, Brenton,
okay.
because this has been going on this week, but I have to get your opinion on this because you're playing Pokemon Legends. Did you see the Pokemon FPS that Nintendo abruptly took down?
What? Nintendo took down an FPS?
So somebody put up a thing. I swear.
Pokemon?
I swear it was probably, what was it? It had to be like Pokemon Snap graphics, the new Pokemon Snap, and they took like a COD kit, and so you could gun down Pikachu with an assault rifle, kind of thing.
Yes, I did see this.
And what was it, Alex? Within minutes, the Pokemon Company or Nintendo just took it down. But now there's like this big argument online of like, but wait, shouldn't they do something like this? And now I have to play like devil's advocate here because I'm like, you could do a Pokemon game that's like Cabell's Deer Hunter and just like let people hunt Pokemon. Like, because here's the thing, if you look at it from in the Pokemon world, right? Somebody has had to have killed a Stantler to survive. Okay?
Well, they're in Generation 4, when you're in the Kanalave library, there are like books and articles in there about how people used to hunt and eat Pokemon.
Yes. I was wondering. So I knew one of the games had it.
Yeah, it's Generation 4. It's Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. It's canon. It's happened.
So at that point, like, okay, I get why Nintendo doesn't want this game out there. All right, I get it. I get why they want it, family-oriented company. But, okay, hear me out. In families, there are dads. Dads can occasionally be, by hobby, hunters. Or they hunt food for their family. So is it wrong to have a game? I'm not saying like COD. I'm not saying gun down Pikachu with an assault rifle. I'm saying like Cabell's Deer Hunter. You could do a game like that where you hunt Pokemon. I don't think that's wrong.
If you want to start working for Nintendo for the sole purpose of having like Nintendo at night, like mature plus Nintendo, and create that division to create.
I'm pretty sure that they've made
Pokemon
a game that's like Doom with Pokemon.
I mean, go for it.
Big Gatling gun.
Luck. I mean, if you think about it, like Nintendo has published games that were M-rated.
Sure.
Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Well, I mean, we technically have to consider Bayonetta a Nintendo franchise now. So.
Oh yeah.
And that's M-rated.
I would even go so far as to say that like Platinum Games could be considered first-party Nintendo, which I know it's not. But
yeah, it's not because they still have games coming out to other consoles.
Right, exactly.
Because like
I
Babylon's
wouldn't
Fall is set for PS5 in March.
I wouldn't I wouldn't be super upset if Platinum Games did become first party Nintendo, but then again, like there are a lot of people who don't like to develop for the Switch still.
I know that there are, but I actually, because of all the people that are buying crap up, I'm actually more of the opinion that, it might be better for Platinum to stay second party, because then at that point, like, one of the things I know with some of the developers that moved over there is they get bored very easily. And so at that point, then they want to go and do an Astral Chain. Then they want to go and do a Babylon's Fall while they're working on Bayonetta. And so at that point, just like, okay, but if you work for Nintendo, then you're tied down because Nintendo has one purpose for you. So at that point, like I can get why they stay that way, but yeah, I don't know if I'd be on I'd be on the fence with them being first party for that's just me though. Oh, come on. I hate YouTube. I really do. Okay, well.
What's going on?
Oh, just the chats connecting and disconnecting. So wonderful. Yay. Well, I think we've hit upon that time, and I've gotten it out of my system. Pokemon FPS should probably be a thing, but only in a hunter aspect. Although it would actually be funny if you made like a Pokemon fishing game. And then they went to Sega and said, make us a fishing rod controller. We'll abuse the hell out of this. And then just as DLC for that game, Big the Cat is playable. It'll be the return of Big the Cat, and Big the Cat will no longer belong to Sonic. He'll be part of the Pokemon franchise. And he calls every Pokemon Froggy. See, Alex knows I'm not wrong that this should happen because it would be fucking hilarious. All right. So really quick, let me see if this actually works. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear this or not, but I'm going to see if and Brinta got disconnected. Oh, and he's back. Okay. Well, let me see if I can get this started, shall we? And we're going to see if we can play this live. I don't know how well it's going to work.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious It has begun!
Calm down, Doctor. Now is not the time for fear.
I am to misbehave.
Give them nothing, but take from them everything!
Program complete. Enter when ready.
Greetings once again, my friends, and welcome back to Geek News, Reviews, and Opinions, the GNRO podcast, the podcast where we talk the month's events of all things geek. I am your host, Adam Mickelson, aka Drak. I am so glad to be able to once again reach out to all of our wonderful friends that have supported the podcast, especially during the interesting hiatus that we had to take. For anybody who does not know those, all of the podcasts all of the explanations are up on the RSS feed, so you guys can go check that out. But we welcome a new era of the GNRO podcast, so I'm very happy to be able to have you guys. And joining me tonight is my panel of fellow geeks, fellow YouTubers, fellow content creators, and fellow nice guys in general. And if you guys want to debate that, you're more than welcome to, while I sit here and go, la 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 la, I can't hear you, la 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 la, or include a nice House MD retort, because I've been watching a lot of that. So joining me tonight is Alex the Shadow Blazer, who is joining me from parts unknown, but I do know that he comes armed. And obviously he's an anime girl with some kind of AR rifle. Alex, how are you?
That's right indeed. I'm doing pretty well for myself, thanks.
Who the crap is that? That's not Homura, is it?
No.
I was gonna say, like, she's the only one I could think of that you would know that's like a cute anime girl that would have an AK.
Yeah, she's a character from the first Blue Reflection game, actually.
Oh my gosh, really? They have
yeah.
automatic weapons and blue reflection? No wonder Sony thinks it's evil.
it's funny because she's like one of your support members, and along with the rest of like a bunch of other characters, and like everybody has their own shtick of how they give you their support, right? In her case, she pulls out a rifle and will shoot the boss enemies for you.
All right, well, I mean, that's very straightforward and it's helpful, isn't it?
Yeah, I wish it worked like, but it doesn't kill them in one shot or anything, but it does damage them. So
right.
it's a fun little thing of the original game.
Okay, and also joining us tonight is a brand new host to the main panel, and also a returning host for some people because, well, he's been gone for quite a while. This is also on the RSS feed if you guys want to be able to join in on it. The most recent Geek News Roundtable covered how we actually have a brand new host, and he is muted. So I don't know if things are...
He can't hear anything, so he's going to be away for a bit.
Okay, so, all right. I guess I'm not introducing him right off the bat now, am I? So we'll figure that out in a second. But I'll also welcome to our live chat, who has been able to join us even during all the difficult times, all of the dark times before the Empire. We appreciate you guys joining us tonight. And let's go ahead and get into our top story tonight, Alex, while he's working that out. So we had a lot of events happen. Like, is it safe to say that Romney's principle was fully in effect in January?
Very much so.
Very much so, because it was holy crap. We just had thing after thing after thing coming up, and it was blowing my mind quite thoroughly. So we actually have quite a bit to get into, but I think it's only appropriate to get into the biggest piece of news, which is, and it feels like deja vu saying this, Alex, because I'm pretty sure we began the year on the Bethesda acquisition by Microsoft, and well, I love the fact that in our agenda I named it microstructure, because that's not right. Microsoft has acquired Activision-Blizzard. Dun dun dun. Yeah, that's a thing. They acquired them for $68.7 billion. I think. Let me double check that. I think it was billion with a B, right?
Billion with a B. $1 billion.
$1 billion. Yeah, they acquired Activision-Blizzard out of nowhere, and now and I love the fact that after this happens, even though everybody hates Activision-Blizzard, right? Everybody hates them. They now are officially, Microsoft has become a superpower of games, because they know that everything is over, that Xbox will own the world, etc. And also joining us now that can we officially introduce you now? Can you officially be heard? Or can you hear? I don't know. Okay, I guess we can't just yet. So with that, yeah, we have a superpower on our hands, and the superpower apparently will own us all as Phil Spencer unleashes both Bethesda and Activision-Blizzard to dominate the gaming industry. And I mean, it's a pretty hefty acquisition. I have to say that for $68.7 billion, especially compared to the $7.5 billion that they paid out for ZeniMax Media, aka Bethesda. So yeah, Alex, what's your take on this?
Well, I guess nobody saw this coming.
Are we doomed? Are we boned? Yes.
Sorry, you're breaking up for me.
Are we boned? Are we X-boned?
I think we could be X-boned, but
we could be X-boned.
I think this is This is sort of the gaming equivalent of when Disney bought out 20th Century Fox, basically.
Yeah.
This is like, holy crap, yet another piece of the market share is pretty much gobbled up by one company, in this case, Microsoft. And, well, yeah, I mean, quite the timing, too, considering all the problems that have been happening with Activision and Blizzard and that whole company
Well,
now.
We'll get into that in a minute because I have questions in that regard. But so yeah, we hit the $68.7 billion. That's still fun to say.
$billion.
And with that, Xbox now owns in terms of intellectual property, owns Call of Duty. So like that's a big one. They own Warcraft, and that's it was the leading MMO. Now Final Fantasy XIV has not so graciously taken it away from Blizzard from Blizzard. Overwatch, many more IPs. I mean, for crying out loud, with Activision, there's stuff like Skylanders, and I think Tony Hawk the Tony Hawk franchise is still owned by Activision, and so there's lots there. There's lots of IPs there. So let's actually analyze this for a second. I mean, in terms of IPs, that's a lot of IPs that they basically have the rights to.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I would say with Activision, there's quite a vault there to be able to utilize, because and I completely forgot about this. So they are the current owners of Crash Bandicoot. So not Spyro the Dragon. I think Spyro the Dragon is still owned by actually, you know what? They might actually be the owners as well, because I know it was Universal Games, but I think Activision bought that before it was acquired. The Tony Hawk series, like I said, is another big one that happened. Spyro. Okay, Spyro was acquired. Guitar Hero. We could see the return of Guitar Hero in this day and age, Alex. We could see the return of overpriced guitar controllers.
It's crazy to think that, yes, you're probably right, because we're probably getting to the point where Guitar Hero is going to actually... Oh, God. Because I remember when Guitar Hero was at its height.
You cut out in the middle there, so
damn it.
Go ahead and reprise what you were saying.
So yeah, I think you're totally right that we'll probably see a Guitar Hero revival in the very near future, because we are getting to that point where Guitar Hero is probably both retro and nostalgic enough for a lot of people to pick up.
Yeah,
again.
Indeed. And also, I can now officially say that he is joining us live. We have our new third guy, and that is the returning Brenton Volley. Brenton, how are you doing this fine evening? Aside from your massive hate boner for CenturyLink right now.
I'm good.
Okay.
I drank some water, and per usual, I have to drink it with my lungs. So
yes.
That's just what I decided to do that live.
Yes. In fact, you do need water to survive. So I'm glad that you realize that.
Well, apparently also in my lungs. So
yes.
Go figure.
Indeed. So, Brenton, it's been a while. It's been a while since you've been able to join us, and people can actually, if you want to know what's happened in that regard, the thing that I will just go ahead and tell you is go and check out the podcast that we did, that explains a lot of that, and so that way we don't have to hammer it over and over and over again. But Brenton, I'm just gonna go ahead and get into your take on this. Holy crap, we have an Activision buyout, and Microsoft has become a superpower. Oh, sorry, I'm messing around with your volume, so it's coming in a little bit better. Is that better?
I mean, is it better? I don't know.
Yes,
I sound fine to me.
Yes, you're coming in a little bit clearer. The pardon our dust, people. So, yes, Activision-Blizzard has been purchased by Microsoft. SUPERPOWER!
Oh my Lanta. Okay, so one, I apologize for the technical difficulties on my end. I decided very quickly that I just wanted to know how much percentage I had left in my wireless headset, and then Discord decided, oh, you don't want to hear anything anymore? Okay.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, no, that's not what I wanted
because
at all.
wireless. Like
Well,
people wondered why in college, like I never used anything wireless. It's just I'd seen like all the people have issues with wireless mouse and keyboards. So
Well, it was a pretty easy fix. It just
Yeah.
Anyway.
well, and also we're blaming Discord for everything this year. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. I forgot.
it,
We had this
Discord.
conversation.
Be better.
We had this conversation. We had this conversation the other day. I completely
Yes.
forgot.
Because we were recording a podcast and then we were talking right afterwards, and then Discord decided to have an outage. So
That is right.
bastards.
So let's get into my thoughts. So when Discord decided that it was okay for me to hear things again, the first thing I heard was Tony Hawk. So immediately in my head, the first thing that came to mind is World of Warcraft, Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Yes. So let me go ahead and quickly finish these IPs just to kind of bring people up to speed. So like I said, we have lots of stuff. We have Crash Bandicoot. We have Tony Hawk. They own the Tony Hawk franchise. Spyro the Dragon is currently owned by them.
Right.
So Guitar Hero. Are you ready for an era where we could see the overpriced guitars back in Best Buys?
I mean, if somebody else is willing to purchase them and I come over
believe it or not, there's actually an interest. There's actually an interest.
That's great. Somebody else can purchase it and I can come over and play.
All right.
I'm not going to pay for it.
Another big IP that they have is Candy Crush. So that's basically their mobile arm right there.
I forgot about that.
In a lot of cases, that could probably explain a lot of the $68.7 billion. And then we also have, obviously, the Blizzard franchises. You have Warcraft, you have StarCraft, Diablo, Overwatch, although I would dare say Hearthstone, Overwatch, and Heroes of the Storm have quite significantly lost a lot of their value over recent months, especially with the lackluster reception for Overwatch 2. So at that point, but I mean, they still have Warcraft, and Warcraft at one point was one of the strongest MMOs out there, and Diablo 4 is in development. So you have a lot to be able to go with on the Blizzard end, as well as these other Activision properties. And oh, by the way, Call of Duty is theirs. So Microsoft has access to all of these and can potentially make them Xbox exclusive, can potentially make them Microsoft exclusive. So, sorry, Apple users, you might be boned when it comes to World of Warcraft, just because that's how they can decide to do things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what, there's not much more I can add to that. You stated it so beautifully and perfect. This is just kind of the day and age that we're in. I feel that the idea and the concept of PC versus console has disappeared over time, and I feel now that it started to become console wars. Which one's better? Is it PlayStation? Is it Xbox? Is it Nintendo?
Well, and this might actually need to be a discussion later on, is in terms of the console war, how this generation is going, kind of thing, and what could be the key to winning this generation, etc.
Well, one right now, supply and demand. In all of
this generation fell flat on its face.
I mean, in all of 2021, the Nintendo Switch sold millions upon millions of copies.
Yep.
Whereas Xbox Series X and S
I can't remember.
PlayStation 5 didn't.
Was it last year or the year before that they beat out the original NES in terms of sales?
Oh, it was definitely 2020 because everybody was flocking to play Animal Crossing while they were avoiding the burning of the world.
Yeah, they pretty much beat every console record at this point for the Nintendo Switch, and most of those records were Nintendo. So
Oh, for sure. I mean, Xbox and PlayStation didn't even break 1 million sold copies last year, and
no.
Nintendo and I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, which I more than likely am. I think it was roughly around 5 million Switches, but I could be wrong.
Could
I
be.
do know that it was somewhere between 2 and 5 million, which is like completely blowing the competition out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
It was a crazy huge number, and I just sat there flabbergasted.
Yeah, and to be honest, like when it comes to those numbers, I would love to be able to see the differences between regular Switch, what is it? Switch Lite is the
Yes.
other one, and then Switch OLED, because I can guarantee you OLED is probably not that high. I know that they tried to pair it with Metroid Dread and tried to make all that work, but I can guarantee you it's probably the original Switch that's the highest, but I don't know. I maybe could believe that the Switch Lite is higher up on that list.
I know that for a while finding a Switch Lite was very, very, very easy.
Yes.
Regular Switches are starting to come back more. To go buy a Switch today because they want to play Pokemon Legends because I showed it off to them because I may have brought it to work to play during like little break.
You bad boy. It's okay.
Well, when you're a regional director, you can kind of get away with stuff sometimes.
Okay, cool.
I kind of hope my bosses don't hear me saying this.
All right.
Where was I going with this? Oh, and in terms of like the OLED model, like nothing about it made me want to run out and buy it. The only thing I was interested in were the really sexy white controllers.
I will
thought
tell
those
you the
looked
only reason
really
I
nice.
considered it was the built-in LAN port. That was it. But
Oh yeah.
and here's the
Other
thing: if they had
words-
done exclusive Joy-Cons for Metroid Dread with that, I probably would have upgraded. But they didn't, and so at that point, I'm like, well, I'll just get Dread, kind of thing. Because until you guys give me snazzy Metroid-based Joy-Cons, I'm not buying OLED because you're not giving me enough out of that.
my biggest concern was just the fact that it is a OLED because my ex and I got an OLED TV
Mm-hmm.
for what used to be our entertainment room.
Yes.
And he made a really giant deal, which is fair, that if you leave images paused for too long still on the screen, it will burn into the screen.
Yep.
Just because of how an OLED works. So I know that I sometimes would just out of really bad habit, and I had to really watch myself on this old television, make sure that I'm like properly turning it all the way off. And I didn't want to fall into that accidental trap where I left my Switch screen on for too long and then I burn the image into my screen. And there goes $350. Like, just, I wasn't going to run that risk.
Yep.
Plus, the Switch that I have is only 2 years old. It still runs like I bought it yesterday. It was not, besides the controllers, which I have plenty of Nintendo controllers to play on my Switch, I didn't need to upgrade. So I know we obviously super digress because I was trying to go on a point about like trying to go on some weird tangent about now we're
I'm gonna digress you just a little bit because
okay.
The other thing that
I like digressing
that Alex and me were pointing out, like getting back to the point, you weren't here when we talked about the Bethesda acquisition, which literally was around this time last year too.
Yes, it was.
And so at that point, like what went into your head when you heard Microsoft has acquired Bethesda for $7.5 billion?
So, I mean, ultimately, my thoughts about them grabbing Bethesda is very similar to my thoughts about them grabbing Activision-Blizzard. Like, whoop-de-doo, great. I really don't care because I continue to see Sony nabbing and grabbing studios that actually produce quality entertainment, quality games that have been QA'd properly, tested properly, and are not gigantic pieces of garbage that require patch after patch after patch that could have just been an additional year of development.
Yep.
And so I'm sitting here and I'm just like, good for you. You acquired a mess. And it's the same feelings I have with Activision-Blizzard, especially Blizzard. Like, good for you. You just bought a mess. You bought a gigantic sexual
no, you didn't buy a mess. You bought a hot mess. A hot mess.
Yes, that is absolutely one gigantic steaming shit.
And that actually kind of gets into what I wanted to get into with the opinions here, is because I keep on saying superpower tonight, and it's just because I have been giggling at the internet ever since this acquisition started, where people are screaming, "Console war's over! Console war's over!" Because Microsoft owns everything. Console war's over. Everybody has to buy Halo now. And so I'm going to introduce a discussion that I had with Bethesda. Okay. So is this 2010 when Skyrim is hot? No, it isn't, is it? It's Bethesda, after having numerous failures, including Fallout 76, which still surprises me to this day. People still play that game. You also, like, the only success that you could say that Bethesda had in the last couple of years is Doom Eternal. Before the acquisition.
It did very, 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 very well.
It did.
I think it also, I also want to say I think it also helped a little bit that it came out on the same day as Animal Crossing New Horizons, and people just
definitely helped the memes that day, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, I enjoyed the memes. Yes. It was one of the things that got me through summer 2020. That and Animal Crossing.
Yeah, so that's the only success that they really had. In ever since 2016, when the first Doom hit, like a lot of the stuff they've been putting out is tons of Skyrim ports, basically remastering Skyrim for current gen and everything like that, and it's still as broken as it ever was. I know that they continue to patch it, but it's never been properly fixed, and I'm not saying that out of experience. I've talked to enough people who like Skyrim who have been willing to be honest about it and said that it's broken as F. In order to be able to play the original Skyrim, you needed like 30 mods just to make it playable. But in between all that, you had massive failure after massive failure, and so that is what Microsoft acquired. And here's the thing, Activision-Blizzard, same deal. You can't call this a superpower because this isn't 2000 Blizzard, where they just barely released a hot game that you might know by the name of Diablo 2. Okay? This isn't 2003 Blizzard when a little game called Warcraft 3 happened. This isn't 2004 Blizzard when a little game called World of Warcraft hit. Okay? This is 2021 Blizzard that is falling apart ever since 2018. So, can you really call this a superpower acquisition?
No, you can't.
No, because you're not. I can already guarantee you with Blizzard, all of the key devs left. Okay? All of the key devs that were engineered the success of Blizzard, they don't work there anymore. Some of them have banded together with Mike Morhaim's Dreamhaven to go make indie games. Some of which have gone over to Tencent to go work on Marvel trading card games. They aren't there anymore, people. So at that point,
they've all moved on. And honestly, like, as more and more developers left, and as throughout 2021, I was like, oh, this person left, this person left, this person left. It was followed by, this was revealed. This new scandal came out. And it's like, they totally saw the shitstorm that was coming in from the distance. And they were like, peace out, Girl Scout. I'm not being a part of this.
Oh, they saw it way before that point. Like, some of them, they got out when the getting was good. J. Allen Brack.
Good for them.
J. Allen Brack, I kind of feel bad for him, but not really. When he basically got saddled with CEO of Blizzard, and then all of a sudden, big ass lawsuit happens, and And at that point, he jumped ship like everybody else. And I know that he said that he's going to retire. Yeah, sure he is. He's going to go and work on indie games like a lot of them are. And that's fine. That's totally fine. But this is not the superpower that people are making out to be in terms of purchase. Phil Spencer is not going to rule the world. He has a lot of IPs to be able to work with, but it just depends on what he decides to do with them. And frankly, I don't think that they're going to do a whole heck of a lot with it. Let's get to your opinion, Alex, and then I want to get into some of the chained stories that have come into this whole situation.
Okay, so anything in particular about it, or what?
Oh, no. Like, what do you think about this acquisition? Is it the superpower that the internet makes it out to be?
It's a little hard to say, because certainly the prestige has kind of gone from Activision and Blizzard, but it's like we were discussing kind of earlier. They did get a whole heap of a giant catalog at their discretion now. You got Call of Duty, which is still going.
I guarantee you the most successful IP that they have right now is probably Candy Crush.
For mobile, for sure, but Call of Duty is obviously still going strong. They keep making it, so they must be making up in the sales somewhere.
I'm going to question that, because a lot of COD viewers or listeners that we have been saying that the current COD has irritated a lot of the fan base, and a lot of them are leaving. So at that point, but I get your point. Like, it's a big IP.
Yeah. So it's more
it's
just
what happens
about
when you put out a game like that every single year. That's why
Exactly,
that's why I'm glad Ubisoft stopped doing that with Assassin's Creed and focused more on quality and where can we take this game.
Well, and on top of that,
that
like,
COD should do the same thing.
Not only that, but a lot of the reason why I'm hearing a lot of COD players are leaving is because they haven't innovated in COD since like the example that people were giving were like Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2, stuff like that. So a lot of the games that they're just putting out is just the exact same stuff with a new coat of paint. So at that point,
didn't those games come out in the early 2000s?
Yes, but in the early 2000s, it was the Modern Warfare craze. So Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3, they did Black Ops. Now they're doing like, I think Warzone is the most recent one, and it is entirely multiplayer based.
Right.
And
So the point I'm trying to make is that this lack of innovation has been from like mid 2000s till now. That's like a good 15 or more years of nothing new.
And from what I understand, the biggest exodus of the Call of Duty fans was like, I think they said 2015 or so. So at that point, like, basically what happened to Shadowlands last year happened back in 2015 for COD, where a lot of the dedicated players, streamers, they weren't doing it anymore, and they moved over to things like Fortnite. And so at that point, you definitely have to consider that, but they are big IPs.
And I interrupted Alex, so
yes.
Please,
that's why I was bringing things back.
Sorry. You said you said something, and I was like, "Ooh, I want to say this really quick," so I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah, that's fine.
Please keep going.
So this is probably a prime opportunity for Microsoft as for Xbox to really, again, continue expanding. I think we've been seeing this over the last several years as they've been scooping up other studios left and right? They want to really diversify their library quite a bit. And I think this is kind of another big acquisition that could do great things. It's all about what are they going to do with this new catalog.
Are they gonna do with it? Yeah, exactly. It's what are they going to do with it? Oh, I think Alex is having technical issues. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Okay, God. No, yeah, I'm seem to be having issues too tonight. I don't know what up.
The internet gods are already mad at us. I have already sacrificed the leper gnomes, okay? I'm not sacrificing anymore.
You may have to, so I would probably start rounding them up just in case.
I've already talked to my Tauren friends. They've lined up the catapults to send them to me.
Excellent.
So, anyway, sorry, Alex. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
go ahead.
I'm not sure what point I heard before we cut out.
I was just kind of reaffirming your point of like these are big IPs, and it just depends on what they do with them ultimately.
Yeah, maybe they'll revitalize some of the kind of stagnant franchises like COD. Maybe they'll put it to bed and start something up new. Yeah, we'll see.
Yep.
Either way, I don't think it's gonna hurt. I don't think it's gonna hurt Activision-Blizzard too much, given everything else that's happened recently.
Well, yeah, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say this before we move into the extra stuff here, because we didn't technically cover that lawsuit in 2021 because of all the issues that we were having, and so I wasn't able to give my opinion on this. Is that I get that there's a lot of horrendous accusations that are being made, and there's substantial proof for some of them. There are some accusations that are not, so I will be very interested because I believe they are still saying that this thing is going to trial. Like the not Activision Blizzard side, but the other side, I think it's the state of California, are going to make sure that it goes to trial, and I'm going to be excited about that because there are some claims that aren't on the level. And so at that point, I will be very interested to see what happens when not every single accusation, because a lot of this stuff could get ruled out, just for the sake of time and lack of bloat when it actually hits trial. So I'll be very interested to see what happens there, but it's definitely going to go to trial. I just have some questions on whether or not every single accusation that we've heard of is going to do it. But that being said, this actually rolls right into one of the extended parts of this. Is I apologize. I get thirsty from time to time. People might have noticed that as soon as this thing was penned and signed, the removal of Bobby Kotick happened. So Bobby Kotick is no longer the CEO of Activision-Blizzard, and he will not be the acting CEO of Activision-Blizzard. And the internet's reaction to this? Bye.
Wow.
Not poor dude, you lost your job, boo-hoo. It was bye. Don't let the door hit your butt on the way out.
Oh my lord.
It's well known. The gamers and the gaming industry have no love for Bobby Kotick. So at that point, and I know that Blizzard fans don't have love for Bobby Kotick because of how many times he tried to interfere with Blizzard before the acquisition started happening. So yeah, Bobby Kotick is one of the scummier CEOs of the gaming industry. So no love lost there. Thoughts on that, Alex?
Yeah, good riddance.
Good riddance to bad rubbish. It really is. Like, no, and actually, I love the fact that Bobby tried to make himself out to be even more compassionate afterwards. I don't know if you guys saw this story, but he basically said that I guess in order to improve their image, he was gonna buy Kotaku to save them from their dilemma. Because unfortunately, Kotaku's broke. Like most online news outlets are right now. And so in order to repair their image, they were going to graciously buy Kotaku. Yeah, that's gracious. So what you're basically saying is that Kotaku will only ever report Activision Blizzard stuff. You basically are going to make Kotaku into a propaganda arm. That's hilarious that you think that that's compassionate. Thanks, Bobby. But it didn't happen because they didn't have the money.
Right.
So at that point, we have Activision Blizzard being purchased by Microsoft. And oh, by the way, this isn't final, we should say. The purchase is under review by Congress. I think it's Congress that views it, or the Senate.
Department of Justice, to be specific.
So they're going to be reviewing it because of antitrust laws. And so they actually might deem this to be too much because of the $68.7 billion that was used to acquire Activision Blizzard. They might actually say that they can't do this. But if they do, then I think Activision-Blizzard's done, and they will just die a more painful death. So I want to make sure that I think I've covered all like the big things that are happening here. Oh yeah, by the way, I guess Phil Spencer has already made an initiative to make World of Warcraft playable on Xbox consoles. Yeah, good luck with that one, Phil. Uncle Phil, you're making so many wonderful decisions right now. I love Phil Spencer, but he has like this every other year cycle or every third year cycle where he makes a jackass out of himself because people forget that the whole X-Bone scandal, that was him. Okay? Where he was basically saying that you had to buy the game and you couldn't share it with your friends. That was him.
What game was that for again?
That was a feature for the Xbox One. Is that everything was going to have a user key. Now. And that was Phil's bright idea. So I love Uncle Phil. Uncle Phil like makes himself out to be a total dingus every 3 years. You know, it's kind of like Windows. Like every other operating system is the better one for a while. Uncle Phil, every third year, he just goes crazy and he has a bunch of bad ideas.
Well, this is, I'm gonna defend that a little bit, just a little, not a lot, because it's because if we're gonna talk about World of Warcraft here going on console for a brief second, I need to compare it to its MMO competitor, Final Fantasy XIV.
Oh,
because
Brinton,
a lot of people
they're not competitors anymore.
Well, I'm
pretty sure Final Fantasy XIV shot it in the head and then shot it again for good measure.
I'm comparing them as competitors for the sake of this argument.
Okay.
I am aware that Final Fantasy XIV swooped in the last 2 years, murdered brutally World of Warcraft to the point where Blizzard had to go take a look at it behind the screen at the autopsy office, and
there are former WoW developers that now work for Square Enix.
Oh my lord! Anyway,
we
Final
have that
Fantasy
confirmed
XIV.
now.
So Final Fantasy XIV is on console. It's playable on PlayStation, and I have tried the console version of 14, and it runs fantastic. It works really.
Uh-oh.
It could, but it's going to depend on a lot of things, and those lot of things are going to have to be actual dedicated developers who give a crap about the game and want it to do well on console. And who knows if that exists in Microsoft Game Studios? We don't know. So I'm just going to say, let's not knock it before it actually happens. And there has to be beta testing to make sure it is sustainable.
Well, I mean, that's definitely something that Bethesda's taking advantage of, is that Microsoft has an actual QA team. The only reason that I am debating that is because Blizzard made it such a cornerstone of their development philosophy to make things for PC that I don't know if you could streamline down abilities for a specific class for World of Warcraft into a controller at this point, especially not with the fans having some blowback about it because they want their class fantasy there. And so I don't know if that's necessarily going. I think Uncle Phil's going to try to do it? Sure, I think he's going to, and I think ultimately what's going to happen is in 6 or 7 months he's going to decide, yeah, we can't really do this. We don't really have the framework for it. And WoW is just that old of a game, so it might not even be in our best interest to do that. And so at that point, that might be a wise decision on his part. But I love his candor about it. I do, because he's gonna be trying really hard to be able to make all that work. Yeah.
I mean, you do make a great point there, Adam. Like, is it feasible? That was not even remotely something that I thought of. But in terms of like the button mapping to a controller, One, I'm not sure if you've had a chance to really delve into 14.
Nope.
I know prior to us, or rather me, ending our friendship, we were discussing it. However, since you haven't really delved into it, I'm just gonna say that the amount of like buttons and the combinations and oh my gosh, you stop playing an MMO for 1 month and you literally forget all the terminology.
Yeah,
Rotation. Your rotation. There are so many more buttons you have to hit in 14, and they make it work on a controller.
Okay.
Considering that WoW has way less buttons that you need to push, I feel that it is extremely possible. There's a lot of things that Yoshita Sensei took from playing World of Warcraft to better Final Fantasy XIV
Yes.
that made Final Fantasy XIV what it is today. I feel that Blizzard could do the same. Find what's making Final Fantasy XIV such an MMO powerhouse as it is today, and put their own World of Warcraft twist on it, and it can work. But
Yeah.
again, is it feasible?
Is it feasible? Is it worth it?
Yeah.
Because the
the
other question that I would bring up with this is, how much, like, I don't like, I know you played BFA to an extent. Have you seen half of the kerfuffles that have happened with Shadowlands?
I only played, what patch is it now? Like when it came out,
So
it was
it's 9.15
9.0?
now.
Okay,
With
I
9.2
played.
on the beta.
So I played 9.0.
Okay.
And then that is around the time that Endwalker was revealed, and I was like, okay, like, I'm sorry, this is blowing what I just played in Shadowlands so out of the
you
water.
missed
And I
Sylvanas
stopped.
becoming June Cleaver.
Yes,
Yes, you
I
did.
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, like, I'll have to explain this to you off stream, but
Okay.
it's splendid how in one expansion they have so thoroughly doomed that character.
Like,
In just
from what
one expansion.
I mean, from what I understood, didn't Blizzard say, "Oh, we're not going to pull a Garrosh or whatever his name was," and then they did it anyway?
Some might say that they did worse with Sylvanas, and I
Okay,
would tend to agree.
okay, well, we'll chat after the
Yes.
show.
Let's just put it this way. If she was the main protagonist of the latest anime that Alex is watching because he loves his strong female characters, and he had seen the downward spiral of that character's gone through, I'm pretty sure that Alex would have months and months of rant videos about it. So
Okay, that's a really good
yeah,
preface
you can't even
for.
make the argument. And I know some people are going to make it in the comments. You can't make the argument to me that she's a strong female protagonist, a strong female character to me anymore. You can't do it.
Yeah, well,
This expansion alone shoved her back into the kitchen, and she ain't coming back out.
Okay,
So
depending on how much time you have to talk after the show, like, and depending on energy, we're definitely talking. So we'll
okay,
just
yes.
we'll put a pin in it for right now.
Yes.
So moving on.
So that's the other thing that kind of comes into it, is that Shadowlands has been such a kerfuffle for Blizzard. Like, so many, like, BFA already had a lot of bad steps that were implemented into it, and Shadowlands just doubled down on all of that. So much so that basically the Shadowlands plan got leaked, and it was not received well at all. And it looks like that is the accurate plan, because everything that is happening in the last patch is pretty accurate. So
Is this in regards to, like, the leak that
The
had
big leak,
10.0 is Dragon Isles or something?
no, this was another leak that came out a few months before 9.1 happened.
Okay, well, again,
that basically spoiled the ending for it.
Okay, well, we'll again.
Yeah.
we got some chatting to do, so
Yeah, exactly.
I'm more than happy to talk about it later.
So at that point, like, there's a couple of things that Uncle Phil now has to consider. Is it feasible, and is it worth it? Because are they going to be able to, like, I'm pretty sure there's another expansion in the works. Whether it's the last one or not, I don't know. But there's another expansion in the works, and it might even not even be feasible to make that Xbox compatible. They might just say, well, go do this and then have your run. Kind of like that's your run and that's what you get. Which I could totally understand on that regard. It just might not be the most feasible. It might just be more in their better interest to take, say, Diablo 4 and make that Xbox exclusive. Which, by the way, boys and girls, they could do. And they're well within their rights to be able to do. So, there's a lot to be able to go into this, but what I at least want to be able to do for all of you people out there, because you like having our opinions heard, is this isn't the SUPERPOWER acquisition that people are making it out to be, because you're getting the current developers not when they were at their best, and anybody who's left Activision-Blizzard in the last 5-6 years has tons and tons of bad, dirty laundry to unload on that company now. So all you have to do is just go look for them, and you'll be able to see a lot of that. And the same thing was true of Bethesda. I especially love that so many people thought that Todd Howard was going to get his way and that he was going to be able to develop Elder Scrolls 6 alongside Starfield, and then we found out at E3 last year, no, Starfield first, and then Elder Scrolls 6. So we can already see Uncle Phil kind of whipping the crew back in line. So at this point, I don't think it's the biggest the big superpower, and that's assuming that this purchase even goes through. And that's assuming that this lawsuit doesn't just trash Blizzard in its entirety. Because it could.
Well, that's the fun thing about the future. We don't know what's going to happen. So,
Yes.
and I mean, even from what we were saying earlier, like, what if the acquisition doesn't even happen? Then, like, what next?
Then Blizzard dies
Like, are
a
all
slow,
the
painful death.
I mean, yes, that. But I look forward. If this acquisition doesn't happen, I look forward to seeing the comments on the internet of all the people who are like, the console wars are over, and then it's like, oh, ready to backpedal, my lovelies?
They're not. But that's why I'm saying we need to do a roundtable on this, because I think this is a viable conversation that needs to be had, is basically taking a look at this current console generation, how it's going, and what it's going to have to do to win. Because like in the last 2 generations that we've dealt with, there have been very different factors that have won it for a company. And I actually want to discuss that in particular.
I think that is a phenomenal idea.
Yeah,
I would
we are
I would
gonna
love
do
to
that.
sit down and speak solely about the console wars, because
Yeah.
PC versus consoles dead. Like, honestly, I don't feel that's even a thing anymore. I very much feel that it's Sony versus Microsoft versus Nintendo.
Yeah,
kind
and
of.
I would actually argue that the PC master race is now up for grabs, in terms of who can get them first. Because, but yeah, it's a bigger conversation. But I do think that the PC master race is up for grabs, and that's why we're seeing like God of War coming to PC, and Game Pass being such a
Horizon
big,
Zero Dawn.
yeah, and
Death
Game Pass being a
Stranding.
priority for Xbox, and even Nintendo is trying to secure something on PC from what we're being told. So that being said, we do have a full docket tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the next story that we have, because we need to take care of this right here and now. And this is the hot button topic for the podcast tonight, because anybody remember G4 Tech TV?
Yes, I do.
In the early 2000s, it was a thing, and it produced, it basically created the acting career of Morgan Webb and Olivia Munn. More Olivia Munn. I think Morgan Webb was more than willing to step into the background, and I know a lot of people attained respect that I would question for Adam Sessler. But now, in case you guys didn't know, G4 TV is back on YouTube. And immediately, the first live show that they do on this platform, one of their hosts, FROSKYPOO, who is a failed League of Legends esports commentator, mainly because she would try to insert things that were not relevant into League of Legends conversation. If you guys do not understand what I'm talking about, go watch your local sport ball game and you'll get what I mean. And that's what FROSKYPOO was trying to do. And she decided on the first night out for G4 to immediately berate, degrade, and destroy their relationship with the audience, because I don't even know if there was a comment in the chat, but she basically wanted to make sure that people knew that nobody could look at her as eye candy. You are not allowed to be able to undress her with your eyes. She is not there to be bangable for you. These are quotes from her actual rant. And no, I'm not playing it live because everybody's heard it at this point. And it's just fucking irritating because, well, she's just a fucking windbag about it. So she basically went on a feminist tirade on every single person in the chat at that live session, and they're still melting down today and suffering for it, because just in that one night alone, they lost about 2,000 of their 50,000 subscribers. And it continues to go down. And their detractors are going up. But more importantly, one of the things that has kept things going for it is FROSKYPOO continues to bring this stuff up and continues to berate and belittle her audience. Adam Sessler has lost all kinds of credibility when immediately after this meltdown, the internet was the internet and decided to go dig up some old tweets that he had. And, I have a lot of problems politically with people, but you want to know one thing I've never, ever wanted to have happen? I never wanted them to die, especially while I watched them die. And we actually have tweets from Adam Sessler where he wishes and I quote, he wishes his Republican family members would die while he, quote, drinks something bubbly. Ouch. Lots and lots of videos and tweets of Adam Sessler berating his audience. And it only gets worse from there, because me and Alex have had lots of discussions about reviewers and being able to properly put up review videos. It's a delicate process, right, Alex?
Yes.
How would you feel about this happening to you? You worked long and hard about a anime review, and the anchors of said network that you're working on can basically take your work and make it sound like their own. And there's no penalty to it.
Yeah, I'd fucking hate that. That would suck so much.
This is the biggest thing that a lot of people missed, and that I was kind of disappointed in Twitter on, because everybody went to the political aspect, but they literally said that they have a team of reviewers working on game reviews where they share the scripts and the reviews to the anchors, and the anchors will read their reviews, but don't worry, guys, they'll make sure to properly credit them. And people have already noticed after this happened, they failed to credit one person already. And guess what? It was our loving dear FROSKYPOO that did it. So, yeah, I think it's officially safe to say that every host on there, including one Gerard Khalil, that they are literally being parasites and leeching off the hard work of their lowers in order to make themselves look better, because that's how this system works. So with that being said, did either of you guys hear about this G4 meltdown?
No.
No. The
Be
first time I heard of
thankful.
it was when you and I, just from us chatting throughout the week.
Be thankful, because FROSKYPOO is insufferable.
Well, good.
Insufferable. I love the fact that people have already had lots of fun pointing out a couple of her wonderful double standards. So she has a problem with you making her out to be bangable, right? Don't tempt the internet, people. Don't do it, because it won't end well for you. Video was discovered of FROSKYPOO, I believe it was on a previous G4 show, where she's standing behind let's just say a muscular black man, and she's about an inch from his butt. And she is imitating that squeezing motion that she's going to squeeze his butt. Part of her tirade was sexual harassment in the workplace. And there's a video of her attempting to commit sexual harassment in the workplace.
What the heck?
Oops! Yeah, do you want to know who I want to get an interview with? Everybody Frosk has ever worked with. That is a golden interview. I would love to be able to hear the stories that they could tell about this wench. I have no problem calling her that. But more importantly, what I want to get with this, because we've had this discussion before, Alex. If you want... So if you're going to start up a YouTube channel, Alex, what do you want people to do?
You want people to watch.
Okay. Well, I mean, aside from the concept that you have to make the video, once you have that video, what do you have to do?
You have to publish it. You have to upload it. You have to edit it. You have to produce it.
But more importantly, once it's out and available to see, you have to advertise it.
Yeah.
You have to get people to watch it. You have to put butts in seats, as we'll put it. Going on a feminist tirade against your male audience, and let's just face it, a lot of the people that wanted the G4 revival were male. Is that going to put butts in seats?
No.
Brenton, do you have a rebuttal?
No, it's not. I'm sitting, I'm just sitting here listening to everything you're saying, and the whole time I'm just like, wow, I don't think I've heard somebody, what's the phrase I'm trying to look for here? Hold on. It's coming. It's on the tip of my tongue. Shooting themselves in the foot as much as they did. With this whole tirade pretty much just them taking a gun to every bone in their foot and just being like, I'm making content.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Why are people so
people
dumb
might think that this
sometimes?
is a familiar tirade for me to go on, because I was making the exact same accusations of one Daniela Pineda, who decided to go and open her noise hole when she was supposed to be advertising the Netflix Cowboy Bebop. And, well, she didn't do that very well, because she decided to go on a rant against a lot of the male detractors. And when her job is to put butts in seats, well, she didn't do that. Oops. And now that shit's canceled. So how'd that work out for you, Daniela?
See, my problem with that one, Adam, though, is because that was more about the people complaining that the costuming isn't exactly like the anime, right? We talked about that. We went on a whole thing about that.
But we also talked about the fact that maybe Daniela could have handled that better.
Sure, but I think here for me it's more bugging me because it's just like, I did try to sample a little bit of the video, but I have to also listen to I can get my thoughts in too.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, it sounds like they were talking about Red Dead Redemption, and she's like all of a sudden segueing for no real reason to tell. But you know what I really want to talk about? Sexism in video games. And it's like, why? There's a time and a place to discuss, really serious topics like this. The original G4 did have documentaries about some of these really serious issues in the gaming industry. I don't remember every single one, but I remember one in particular that I remember from G4 late at night was like one about porn games or sex and game, not necessarily porn games, but like sex and video games, right?
Okay.
So it's like G4 can do these, but it's sort of like there's a time and a place to discuss these things, and there's a time and a place to, you know, look at and examine these things, and that just isn't the time.
Yeah.
Hey,
It wasn't-
I have a question I want to ask, just because there's a statement I want to make, but I want to make sure that I have like all my facts before
Sure.
I start running my mouth. So don't these actors and actresses and these quote unquote celebrities have a team of people that essentially like remind them of certain contractual agreements of what they can and cannot say?
I'm glad you brought that up, Brenton.
So
I'm
is that a
glad
yes
you
or
did.
is that a yes
Because-
or a no?
Yes, they do. Because
Okay,
here's the
so-
thing, the money that they're using to be able to fund this revival of G4 TV isn't their money. It's not Adam Sessler that's funding this. I believe that they confirmed it's Comcast that was the one that put forth the money to do this revival.
Yeah, I think it is Comcast.
So, funniest
So
thing...
I guess my
Go ahead,
so like my
Brenton.
statement, yeah. So I guess my statement is like, are these people? I guess like it's part statement, part like rhetorical question. But are these people like not getting reprimanded or like losing their jobs and their managers and their teams?
Well,
Because I know
they're
if I
making
were
it
like,
sound like they're not, but I have some evidence that I think goes to the contrary.
okay, good. Because like, if I were the manager of one of these people, and it's like, okay, like let's sit down, let's talk about let's talk about what you signed, what you can, what you cannot say. Like this is a promotion. Let's promote this product.
Mhm.
And they go and shoot their mouths the way they're doing, and then they come back to me. It's like, so what did you think? My first question is, you're fired.
Well, see here's a little tidbit that I want to ask if you're aware of, Brenton. Are you
Okay.
aware that when actors sign on for a popular movie, it's now being wired in, or not wired, but it's being put into their contracts that they have to quote hand over their social media so that they because part of their contract actually is that they have to go and advertise the movie or TV show or anime or whatever, and they have to do it so many times, kind of thing. So they have to hand over that.
I believe it.
Okay.
Like I completely believe that. Yeah.
So, funniest thing about that, because Adam Sessler immediately after this went completely into protected mode, and a lot of people are going to make the argument that, well, he was blocking people left and right before this, but a lot of people didn't expect the protected mode so quickly, and it looked very familiar to me. It looked very familiar to a similar situation involving Netflix and Kevin Smith, when he wouldn't shut his mouth on Masters of the Universe Revelation. And it was all bad press, and immediately one day he just shuts up. And then we found out later that it was Netflix that shut him up. And they basically locked him out of his account and said, you can't make any more statements in regards to this. And so Adam Sessler mysteriously goes protected. And last night, this is a funny thing about FROSKYPOO, is that she's occasionally says that, yes, she's the one that manages her Twitter and her Instagram and everything like that, right? But she's also made the claim that she has an agent who helps out with her publicity and whatnot. Guess what's part of those agent contracts? Alex, do you want to answer that?
I don't know, actually.
They also get control of that social media so that they
Okay.
can make sure that she honors the contract, kind of thing. And if she's not able to do it, then they kind of step in to be able... They basically kind of act like, you know how a corporation will basically hire somebody's nephew to go manage their social media? That's basically
Yeah.
what agents can do. And
Mhm.
last night, FROSKYPOO did a little... She calls it spring cleaning. I say it's a bunch of deleted tweets that were all the inflammatory tweets that might have gotten her in trouble. And she says that she did this, but I'm going to go ahead and say that it was happening way too quick. I think Comcast went through her Twitter and got rid of a lot of that shit.
I do not envy any single person who has to play cleanup for people who don't know how to control their emotions or their comments or their mouths.
Well, the problem is that everything is so corporate now, and corporations just cannot stand having a bad image on social media. Now, granted, I'm happy with corporations this year because there's been a twinge of them not caring anymore. They've actually started to deviate away from it, and we've actually had a couple of companies admit that they're not as focused on what people think of them on Twitter anymore. And I'm happy about that because it was not helping you in the slightest. And also, I think what's happening here is that they are seeing idiots like FROSKYPOO who are just doing nothing but bad press, nothing but bad PR, and actually, in turn, I would actually argue breaching their contract because they're not putting butts in seats. They're basically running people off as hard as they possibly can. So, yeah. I know that a lot of people are going to say, well, it was Frost because she didn't want to, she was basically running away from her stuff. No, it was happening too fast. I'm going to guarantee you it was somebody going in there and just going nuts. And it was probably like a corporate rep that was just like, delete that, delete that, delete that, delete that, delete that. Or it could have been her agent. Her agent just said, you're being an idiot. And she even comes out and says, well, I was just doing a little spring cleaning. No, you weren't. No, you weren't, because it was all the inflammatory tweets, not all the inane tweets that everybody puts up at any given moment. So, like, those were not being touched, Alex, but all the inflammatory tweets now gone.
Yeah, I can believe that's probably a corporate.
It's probably a corporate rep.
Yeah.
Coming in and saying, shut the hell up. And I also find it funny that she's been a little bit more peaceable, whereas she was not willing to talk to anybody up until that point, and now she's being peaceable with people, and she's being civil. And I have a feeling that's because Comcast said, shut up. Or like, if you can't say something nice, then shut up. And you know what? They have every right to do it, people. So for everybody who wants to say, oh, deal with corporate censorship. No, these people were actively trying to lose money. And that is not cool when Comcast is footing the bill. Okay? I will at least stand with Comcast in this regard. If I hand you $50,000 and you waste it going off on political tirades that have nothing to do with my product, you bet your ass I'm going to come in there and I'm going to start demanding some changes. Because it's my money on the line. It's not yours. All you walk away with is a hurt reputation at the end of the day. But I'm now $50,000 in debt. I mean, it's not a big debt for Comcast, but you get my point. Like, you're running my money into the ground. Of course I'm going to step in and say, shut up. Hell, I'd go 10 steps further. I'd fire every single person that was on that broadcast. And they would be gone. Which means a lot of the G4 veterans that a lot of people loved, they were on that broadcast. They're gone now. That's me. Somebody at Comcast was obviously nicer than me. So,
I wonder. I don't know this at all. I don't know what the legality of that would be, considering contracts are a thing. Sometimes these contracts can be long term, so maybe it's not as simple as just like, yeah, you fire them when they screw up. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying if it were me, because I don't know how much power is actually delegated, because contracts can differ depending on the company. Because I know companies like Paramount have tried to do these all-encompassing power grabs, and they haven't worked so well for them. And so I know that some companies have stepped that back, and I don't know what Comcast's was on this. But I do know that they loaned them the money. And this is an active. I would actually say, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Alex. This is evidence that they were flagrantly misspending it, and they could technically go to court for breach of contract.
And that's probably going to be a real big depending,
It
right?
is.
It's like, because also a lot of times, you know, a lot of times there's also like disclaimers, and I think a lot of people have seen these, like when you boot up a DVD, it's like, the views expressed are that of the individuals and not necessarily of our parent company, so it's kind of a, like, you know.
Yeah, they do that to cover their ass, kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's just like, okay, I don't know what kind of stipulations there are for opinion, but I have to imagine there's probably a bit of leeway considering, you know, G4, it's meant to be kind of opinion-based as well as entertainment, so...
And I'll give you that, but what I can probably guarantee is that this contract was, we will lend you a certain amount of money and a certain amount of equipment and things like that to be able to do this over a year, to be able to earn that money back and be able to gain us profit. Okay, I'm guessing this is the basis for the contract.
Yeah, I think that would be the most likely, and
so,
pretty much
as an investor. So at that point, when the year runs up and you have to renew, would you renew that contract?
Yeah, definitely gonna think twice before renewing it. Yeah, probably.
That's going to be the greatest part about this, is that because the other thing too that a lot of people are pointing out, if this is Comcast's money, they're not even the other thing that's so glorious about this. I'll see if I can share my screen on this one, because people actually do need to see this. I do know that when it comes to YouTube contracts, part of the agreement is that you have to be able to procure a certain amount of views, and not necessarily subscribers, but views, because that's pretty much the only transaction that you are able to do in regards to this. And so a lot of contracts actually say, like, you need to produce a minimum of 50,000 views per video, kind of thing, with our sponsor money, etc. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and do the ever so popular thing on YouTube of, let me see if I can share my screen here to be able to showcase this. There we go. So here is the G4 YouTube channel. So they have 492,000 subscribers. Okay, that's not necessarily that bad. Sorry, I said 50,000. It's 500,000 that they had, and I know that they've gotten some back since then. So 500,000 subscribers, right, Alex?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, let's look at their videos for a second. So we have 6.1K views, 10K views, 24K views, 16K views, 26K, 28K, 19K, 31K. I'm pretty sure if you have 500,000 subscribers, then, dare I say, 10% of that at least has to be accrued in that contract. So that would be 50,000 views each. And so the way that you have to look at this is that, or at least the way that a company like Comcast looks at this, is that's lost money right there, because that's not 50K. That's not them honoring the agreement. 24K? Well, that's not it either. Sorry, why did I do that? And you just keep going on, and yeah, we do have a couple of videos that do honor it. Okay. But then you look at anything recent, and like 4 days ago, 28K views. I'm pretty sure in the agreement is like within the first 7 days, it has to be 50K. So that's a problem. Definitely, like, if you're the investor, Alex, do you think you'd think twice about giving them money again?
I mean, I think twice before giving any online video channel. I mean, frankly, even before all this, I still thought trying to revive G4 was a bad idea.
Before people jump down my throat, yeah, I get it. YouTube is unpredictable, but companies don't really get that. Like they want to be able to have some kind of security, and this is the way they did it. Sorry, go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, still, I don't even know why anybody thought reviving G4 was going to be a good idea anyway.
Nope.
It's like
I already could tell you that the other problem with it is that the irony of Frost Kieran pointing out that you can't use sex to be able to sell it. Did she not watch like 80% of G4 content? They use sex to sell everything.
Yeah,
That's
G4 was
almost-
the Gamer Bro channel.
Yes.
That's how most media is sold anyway. Like, if I think about
Well,
some of
because it's
the
a universal
early
marketing
Netflix,
principle. Sex sells. You know, like that.
I mean, look at most of Netflix's early original shows before they started
Sure.
green-lighting everything. Like the very first episode of Orange is the New Black. Like, I saw boobs and vagina within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that made Game of Thrones so popular wasn't necessarily the fact that they had such compelling characters. It was because they had boobs and dicks out all the time, and 80% of the times it was dicks. There's
Why have I not watched Game of Thrones then?
I was wondering if that was going to be a thing. I need to send you.
Hardcore nudity.
I need to send you the South Park choir one where they actually have people singing the theme song of Game of Thrones.
To Wiener.
Yeah, it's Wiener, 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 Wiener.
I've seen it. It's beautiful.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, I digress. I just wanted to pretty much support what you're saying. Like, sex does 100% sell. Like, it doesn't matter if it was at the start of the end of the 2000s, start of the 2010s, all the way into like the early 2020s now. Like, people very much are using that beautiful,
I'll be right back. Continue.
blessed, wonderful. I don't know where I'm going with this. Sex sells. That's pretty much it. I'm not really sure where Adam was going to go with that after I supported what I just was saying. So, I mean, you Alex, you and Adam know and are aware of G4 way better than I am. I didn't really know what G4 was until Adam had brought it up this week, just in our idle conversation. And so I've looked into it a little bit as I've been preparing for this show. But overall, what I like, my opinions and what I can contribute to this particular conversation is only to support just the bare, simple facts of everything that you guys are saying right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, Adam's back.
Yes.
I was like, how much longer can I ramble?
Let me put it this way: like, if sex sells and all the things that we're pointing out here. I mean, one of the big videos that's been going around. I don't know if you've ever seen this one, Alex. Did you ever see the challenge where Olivia Munn had to eat a hot dog that was dipped in mustard from like a rope?
No, I didn't see that.
This exists. They did a lot of this stuff, and Olivia Munn was a good sport about it. But this video has been played so many times right next to "You're not allowed to consider whether or not I'm bangable," and then Olivia Munn eating the hot dog with mustard on it, kind of thing. So yeah, G4 used this entirely, and you going on a sexist rant when sex sells was utilized so much in G4's advertising is really hypocritical, especially when you have Adam Sessler in your panel and he's the guy that okayed all that. Yep. Bottom line, boys and girls.
There was an argument after that.
Bottom line, boys and girls. Don't support G4. Don't do it, because obviously Comcast is probably not going to do that next year, and they're going to shut it down. And I agree with Alex. It should never have been resurrected.
Yeah, it's a byproduct of the cable days. You know, we have YouTube channels dedicated to gaming now. Why do we need another G4?
There are channels with lesser budgets that do better than G4. Sorry, just being honest.
It's true.
That was like That was like the bullet to the head and the final nail in the coffin in that one statement alone.
No, that was the bullet to the head, the nail in the coffin, and then shooting where the head would be in the coffin. Yeah, you basically made it so that oh yeah, and this is wonderful. Okay.
It's throwing you out of a plane and then shooting you.
Indeed. So let's go ahead and go on into the next topic that we have, because yeah, G4 is done, I think, in the next little bit. But we have another interesting acquisition that's about to happen. So you guys will be very happy to see that the CW is for sale. Yes, you heard me right. The CW is for sale.
CW.
So, unfortunately, after the popularity of the Arrowverse, and some of the other teen dramas that they were doing, including Supernatural, their popularity went down quite a bit. And I know a lot of that has been credited to a lot of the wokening that has been happening with the Arrowverse, specifically with Supergirl, with The Flash. I don't know if you can attribute Arrow anymore, but Legends of Tomorrow has had that problem too. They've lost a lot of money since their heyday, and their heyday was like when Smallville was hot. And it's bad enough that Viacom and Warner Media have decided to put up the CW for sale. So I guess all that I'm asking about this from you two is, do you guys have some, like, an extra $15 to be able to put in there?
No.
Darn. Because I could probably make some really good content if I own the CW. Because I don't think it's going to be.
I got attorney's bills to pay still.
But, dude, wouldn't. I'm making this joke because this is basically the same joke that was made of like when WWE purchased WCW, because it was for like 1% of what WCW was worth in their heyday, and it's simply because like they lost a lot of their popularity, and anything that they were coming up with was absolute garbage. And that's kind of how the CW is looking at this now. Is, you know, their recent shows have been massive failures, including Batwoman. And so at that point, the CW is not of any worth to Warner Media. I've even heard that Warner Media, like, I think it's Viacom and Warner that are looking to purchase Discover so they can do that massive streaming platform. And they were going to basically reboot the DC, like the DC streaming universe there, and get rid of all of the excess baggage. So, yeah, that's a thing. And so the CW is going to be up for sale.
Okay.
What do you say, Alex? Do you want to go in?
I have
$15 each. I think we can afford it.
Okay. I mean, I haven't watched the CW since it was the WB. That's how long ago I watched that channel.
This ought to tell you like how much it's worth right now. Its biggest shows are a failed reboot of Walker, Texas Ranger. Yes, you heard me right. A failed reboot of Walker, Texas Ranger, Batwoman, and The Flash. That's it. Because Supernatural's done.
Mm-hmm.
That was their other big thing that was going on, and they finished that up. Riverdale was done.
I haven't watched that network since the same exact time period as Alex. Like,
oh yeah,
I'm
by
right
the way, person
him.
who was creating that failed Powerpuff Girls reboot, what network do you think it was?
Oh my
CW?
gosh, really?
It was the CW that was gonna show it. I don't know if they were. I think they were making it too, weren't they?
Oh, the live action one.
The
right?
live action one, yeah.
Yeah. Let me see.
The one that we were gonna have a bunch
We're
of
gonna make a
lesbian jokes
live
from
action
Buttercup.
Powerpuff Girls.
They were making a live action Powerpuff Girls. I am so glad
Where
to have
the
you
hell
on this
was
panel
I
again.
when this was announced?
I am so glad to have you on this panel again, Brenton. Now, unfortunately, I should point out
Like,
that
I'm sorry.
that-
I want to. I'm like derailing this for a second, so I'm kind of pushing you out of the train spot into like the coal in the back. Like,
yes,
tell me more about this live action Powerpuff Girls. I need to
it was an
rip this
abysmal
a
failure.
new one. Oh my
So-
gosh! Please.
It was an abysmal
Someone.
failure, so bad that when they finally recorded the pilot, the president of the network said, "Fuck you guys, go back and redo it."
Somebody please send me information. Send me the pilot. Someone
I'm going
out there
to- I
listening
think
right now.
I think I clipped it.
need
I think
this.
I think I clipped it. I need to send that to you because we actually found the script for the pilot, and it
I
was
need this
it was
so bad in my life
disgusting.
right now.
It was such like Alex, back me up here. Bad writing.
Yeah. I remember we did talk about the leaked script, and yeah, it was really
It
bad.
was bad. We read quotes from it. It was bad. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but they were bad. That what was it? It was Blossom, or no, it was Bubbles that made a George Bush joke
I
that
need
would
or
be-
something like that. I can't remember.
I need this in front of my
Yes.
two gorgeous gay eyes right this
So,
very second.
unfortunately, I should also point this out. Unfortunately, the internet and all of their wisdom has kicked us off. So we are no longer streaming, but we will put this up for people to be able to enjoy later. So we apologize for that, but it was 80% on YouTube and Twitch's fault. So I take no blame on this whatsoever. But we are still recording, so it doesn't necessarily matter. This is one of the things I like with the software that we're working on. But yeah. So we'll get you this, Brenton, because you need to have it. But back on topic here, Alex, is it deserving that the CW is up for sale now?
Might be long overdue at this point.
I don't even know. I don't even know if they're going to be able to. Is it even going to be worth it for somebody to buy it?
I don't know. I don't think so, because
No.
what do they have? I
I
mean,
think they're done.
I
think,
guess anything under the old Warner Brothers licensing division from the early days of WB, even when they didn't produce original
I know,
shows
like
for the network.
I know the early Arrowverse and Flash seasons are up on HBO Max, so those will probably be made available.
Yeah.
And they'll
yeah,
get whatever
you know
they
what?
can out of that. But
Anything Warner Television would probably just go on HBO Max. So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't see anybody buying CW because there's no incentive to buy
there's
it.
no incentive, and the crap that they had was not bringing people in. I know for a fact that the new superhero show that they were trying to do called Naomi, which I believe is based on a DC comic, and it was going to be directed by Ava DuVernay. If people do not remember who she is, she was the director alongside Brie Larson when the A Wrinkle in Time movie came out, that immediately got mad at all the 40-year-old white men who said that they didn't honor the book and that they did a bad job. So she was responsible for that. And apparently they were going to build up Naomi in the entire season to have, quote, and I quote, powers that rival Superman. And, well, that's in the shit can now. And also, they were going to create a Justice League within the Arrowverse that was going to be led by Supergirl and Batwoman. Woke Supergirl and woke-ass Batwoman were going to lead the Justice League. Yeah, those plans aren't happening. Not anymore. It's not happening. And nobody's buying it. I mean, the last time I heard any remote success for the CW was when they did Superman and Lois, and it was like for the first 3 episodes, and immediately it went downhill. Which is sad, because a Superman series would have been great right now. So, Brinton, now that I've made this pitch, are you gonna go purchase the CW just to see that Powerpuff Girls pilot?
mean, I'm currently reading the script as we speak.
Oh,
so I
good,
need to
you
make sure
found
it's
it.
worth my money. Oh, Alex just sent it to me, so I'm still listening, but I'm also highly intrigued by this script now.
Did you get to the point where Buttercup and her girlfriend were done with their 8th time?
Oh my gosh, Buttercup is gay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they're technically all gay. It's woke writing at its finest, so they're probably all gay.
I'm pretty sure I just went Super Saiyan and gay.
All right. I think we've done good today, Alex. I think we've done good.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So with that being said, there's really not much else to take into this, because I think the prediction right here is I don't see anybody buying the CW, and I like guaranteed HBO Max will have all of these shows up there, and once they have no viewership, they will promptly get rid of them. Because they just don't see the money coming in from them. And I don't think any of their future plans are even remotely going to happen. Because apparently they were advertising they were in the process of also doing a Nancy Drew series. They also had Riverdale, which is like a dark version of Archie. So to give you guys kind of a sense of how dark this was, Archie was apparently banging his teacher.
Shit.
Oh.
Yeah. And also they were going to reboot Charmed. Well, that ain't happening. So that being said, let's go ahead and move on into the next bit of story that we have here. And this one I'm so glad to be able to take care of, because I don't get to hand out kudos to the gaming industry that often, but by darn it, Steam earned it. So in case people don't know how Steam policy works, when you purchase a game, you usually have, I believe it's up to 2 to 4 hours of gameplay. And basically, when you start up the game, a timer goes off in the Steam app, which counts how many hours you put into the game. So that if you put less than 2 hours, because you just don't like the game, it's not working for you, it's bug ridden or whatnot, you can get a refund for it. And there's a lot of strenuous things in there that have to be met before they'll issue the refund, because obviously they don't go to the company for the refund, but then they actually have to send a report to that company to be able to say, yeah, this thing was refunded so many times, kind of thing. But Steam has also made it abundantly clear with recent bug releases like Cyberpunk 2077 that they will step in and just offer refunds if even they think that the game is just too effing broken to be able to play. I've seen them do this with a lot of Steam Greenlight games that are poorly made, and I've also seen it in the case of Cyberpunk. But now we have another big player that has been brought into the game, or into play here, which is that Steam has now offered refunds for Battlefield 2042, the most recent Battlefield game, because of glitches and bugs, and have actually extended their refund policy, to which a lot of people obviously have been taking advantage because of how broken and shitty the gameplay is. And internal reports are saying that Steam and Electronic Arts are not happy partners right now.
Oh, boo-hoo for EA.
Yes. So, EA basically has the complaint that when Steam does this, it's totally on the Steam platform. They don't have to consult the companies on this, and so guess what EA is butthurt about? They're butthurt about the fact that they didn't want them to issue the refunds, and Steam said, fuck you, we honor our player base, or we appreciate our player base more than you do, EA, and we'll start issuing these refunds. And in fact, if these circumstances are met, they stop selling the game too. And I don't think that it got that far for Cyberpunk, but I have heard Battlefield is getting close to that point. So
I think that Battlefield's already going free to play, so
well, that's EA and DICE's answer to that. But Steam, I do know that internally they're basically saying that they can go free to play all they want, but they're probably gonna get kicked off the Steam platform unless they make it free. So at that point, yeah, we have a lot of refunds offered. I'm just curious, Brinton, did you play Cyberpunk?
I played Cyberpunk very, very briefly, and just because like the pathway that I initially chose was just very, 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 very long. And by the time I got to the city, I was like, okay, I think I'm just gonna stop here for tonight, and then I'll resume tomorrow. Like I was just tired, and then it was just bad review after bad review and Angry Joe and watching
Sony took down the PS4 version,
well,
which is unheard of for Sony to do.
So I mean, ultimately, what I'm trying to say is, I played for a couple of hours the day it came out, and I never touched it again from everything that I saw because I just didn't even want to remotely waste my time with it.
Yep. It was a broken mess. It's AAA US game designers in a nutshell. And the same thing has apparently occurred for Battlefield 2042. So my thoughts on this ultimately are good for Steam, because I know that there's still some problems with Steam. Steam doesn't necessarily always stand up for the little guy, but in this case they did, and I'm happy that they did it, because AAA gaming needs to learn this lesson. You need to stop putting out broken ass shit and actually test the game and actually put a polish on it so that when it comes out, it is playable and enjoyable for all. You can't just patch it over the course of a month to be able to fix it. You can't do it. It just doesn't work that way.
I was actually having this conversation the other day at GameStop when I was paying off the rest of my Pokemon Legends pre-order so I could pick it up last night. And I'm like, one guy was like, well, the game works fine now. And I was like, I would rather that the game work fine the day that it launches. And if it means that they need an additional like month or a year or 2 years, it's not like launched and it's being...
The audacity!
I don't give
a...
I don't give a crap. I'm sick and tired of getting hyped, and I know I choose to be hyped, but I'm sick and tired of being lulled and given this false pretense of, oh, look at this amazing game that you're gonna get on enter date here. And then enter date here arrives, and it's like, why is this such a broken piece of crap? And then it takes a year.
Like I said, you need 30 mods to be able to play Skyrim so that it worked on PC back in the day.
It's just so dumb. And with how expensive games are starting to get.
But think about it from this perspective. It is so broken that your fan base has to come in and fix it for you.
Yeah, that's just bad. That's really
not
bad.
Good business. That's not good game design. That's not good leadership. That's why I keep on saying to people, fuck Todd Howard. He is not the visionary that we made him out to be. He is, in fact, the most laziest piece of shit in the gaming industry. But you know what? At this point, there's a lot of people that earned that award, so it's just a ginormous shit pile.
No wonder I enjoy foreign gaming studios more for the games and the content they make, because it's made well.
Are you saying they care about putting out a good game?
Well, is me rebuying Control 5 times saying that they put out a good game?
Well, Control's not a good example because that's Remedy.
Well,
and Remedy's a Canadian developer that works with Take-Two. But
Remedy is based in like the Scandinavia region
is it
of the
Scandinavia
world.
now? Okay,
yeah,
Remedy when it first started out was Canadian when it was doing the Max Payne games.
Yeah, it's a Norwegian company now.
Is it? Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, I've gotten. I mean, I get emails all the
Finland.
time about, Finland, excuse me. Well, I get a lot of emails about, hey, we're hiring for this. You may be interested in it because I may have dipped my interest into the company at one point, and I was like, oh my gosh, there are far more talented people to fill that role, and I am
Yeah.
in I am in a place in my life that I could legitimately drop everything and move to Finland if I
You could.
wanted to.
You could.
Um, However, I am dating someone who is phenomenal, and I would rather not have a long distance relationship.
This is true. They're
You
hard to
kn-
make work. But I mean,
but
here's the thing. Like you've played a lot
I'm
of
super digressing.
you've played a lot of FF14. That's Square Enix. That's Japanese.
Oh,
So
I have
they
played a
care.
lot of Square Enix.
So
A lot.
would we both agree that Devil May Cry 5 was an awesome game?
It was, I would say, Devil May Cry 5 was a masterpiece.
And that's a Japanese company because that's Capcom. So
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that's why we're making this argument, people. Because this shit is getting ridiculous. And if Europe is able to do it better and Japan's not a good example because Japan's been doing it well for a lot of time, for a long time now. Yeah. So
The only game developers in our country, the good old US of A, that I enjoy are indie developers because it's a small group of people who
they're
actually
the
give a
ones that you should
crap
support.
and make really, really, really fun games.
I can guarantee you a lot of the games that I played and enjoyed throughout 2021 were indie. And I am so glad I supported them because if I was playing all the broken messes that were coming out from EA and Activision and Blizzard the entire time, I would have gone insane because
Like ev- like
I'm just
every
so sick and tired of
time
the broken shit.
every time Nintendo puts out an Indie World presentation, I get more excited about those than Nintendo Direct because I'm like, ooh, new indie games? What's going to spark my interest?
Well,
And I have a few on my wish list that I just don't have the money for right now that I am genuinely excited to touch when I have the money.
Well, and one thing that makes this very interesting is, okay, yes, Steam does have a reputation for not necessarily standing by indie developers, things like that. They're cleaning up that reputation. But remember, as we found out earlier this week, they have a console coming out, and so they're kind of cleaning up that reputation. And so at that point, I do like the fact that they're standing behind gamers and saying, yeah, this is a piece of shit, and we're going to refund you the money because you shouldn't have spent money on this because you weren't given what you were promised. So at that point, I'm going to say good on Steam. Good on Steam here. They
No,
were very good about it.
I completely agree with you, Adam. I don't
Yep.
think people should spend anywhere from $60 to $80 for broken pieces of for broken games.
Yep. Alex, your thoughts on this one?
Not much more that I can add on, but
Okay.
you're totally right here. It's just, it's about to. I'm glad more of these merchant platforms like Steam are going to start maybe taking a bit more of a stand and saying, hey, we don't like having broken down messes on this platform, so
Well, we
give
already
us a
know what
playable product.
we already know what EA's answer is going to be to that. They still are trying to make that Origin system mandatory, and so they'll just sell it there. And then at that point, Steam will just say, well, okay, we're just not going to take your shit anymore. And it just becomes a haven for good games. So that just works out in their favor. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into the next little bit here. And this is actually a listener request because we talked so much last year about Zelda's 35th anniversary and a couple of other things that they basically wanted to ask, well, it's 2022. So what anniversaries are we looking to celebrate this year when it comes to gaming? And I'm also with this going to encourage Alex, because this has been asked, if you could find for a future podcast any anime that are celebrating an anniversary since they came out in 2022. So not a huge thing. I don't know if people keep track of that as much as they do with like the gaming industry, but if anybody's going to be able to know that, it would be Alex. So at that point,
I agree.
If you could find it, then feel free to bring it and we'll actually do it for a story. Because I like the idea. So let's go into the gaming version because it didn't take long for me to do this. First of all, when it comes to consoles, the Wii U is 10 years old today. Or in this year.
Oh, what?
Crazy.
No, it's not.
See, this is the part
Oh
that
my
Alex
gosh,
is not
it
going to
is.
like because all of these segments are going to be, look how old you are. So yeah,
I want to sit here and not believe it, but I bought Wind Waker HD in 2013,
yeah.
and I still remember it like I just did it yesterday.
Well,
Oh
and
my
here's the thing:
gosh.
not only is the Wii U 10 years old, but the game that came out with it, Nintendo Land, is also 10 years old. 10 years old. So at that
That was
point,
such a fun game.
I know that a lot of people don't have a whole lot of love for the Wii U because it was just such a weird transition console in retrospect compared to the Switch. And it's one of the things that I've actually been very happy that a lot of Wii U games have been able to find their way to the Switch so that at that point people can appreciate that there were actually some good efforts that were being put out on that platform. For example, Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Breeze, Pikmin 3, Twilight Princess HD was from GameCube, but we do have
Not Twilight Princess HD was for Wii U.
yeah, it was for Wii U, but it hasn't been brought to Switch yet. That was what I was meaning. Super Mario 3D also made its way to Switch. So yeah, there are a lot of games, and there are many more that are being considered being brought over, and I'm very happy about that, including one that some people have told me not to lose hope in, which is that Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD will make their way to the Switch. And I hope to God they are right. I really do. Because it would be so great to be able to have those games available.
Oh my gosh, I will 100% be buying Wind Waker HD on the Switch.
If it comes
And
out,
I swear, if it comes out, and I swear to God, Nintendo better have like the best mega bundle collector's edition that's like $500, and I will spend all $500 or more on it. I love that game way too much.
Yes, no, agreed. So with that, so we have the Wii U anniversary. When it comes to game series, Sly Cooper is celebrating 20 years.
Wow.
Holy crap. Sly Cooper is celebrating 20 years. Now I feel even more compelled to get out the first rebooted Geek News Game Night because, as it has been promised, it is Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. Because I've never played those games. And now I actually, in this year, I kind of want to do the 4 Sly games in honor of that. For 20 years of Sucker Punch giving you a great series, to which they've continued their excellence with Ghosts of Tsushima, not last year, 2 years ago. So we have 20 years for Sly Cooper. We have Kingdom Hearts celebrating 20 years, and I've already seen Kingdom Hearts' celebration for that, which was Sora for Smash, as well as moving the entire Kingdom Hearts library over to the Switch, but you have to stream the game. So all of that has happened, and supposedly, according to Tetsuya Nomura, we are going to be getting information about the future of the series this year as well. And some people have speculated that it might be a game starring main female protagonist Kairi. So at that point, yeah, Kingdom Hearts celebrating 20 years. Mortal Kombat celebrates 30 years.
Wow.
Now, I'm older than Mortal Kombat by 1 year?
Yes. Now, the other part of this I should also point out is people wanted to know if if these studios are doing anything to celebrate that. In Sly Cooper's case, I've heard nothing from Sucker Punch. With Kingdom Hearts, I already talked about the speculated stuff. And Mortal Kombat, well, I doubt it, because we already know that not NRS, but Warner Interactive is working on their Smash clone, And so at that point, I think their focus is going to be there. And I haven't heard anything from NetherRealm Studios. I don't know if they're even working on Mortal Kombat 12. I don't know. I don't even know if they're working on ports to be able to bring like the original Mortal Kombat onto like a bundle that people can purchase. I don't know. Maybe some skins for Mortal Kombat 11. Although I think they kind of done those legacy skins, so not sure. Alongside Mortal Kombat, Mario Kart celebrates 30 years in 2022. And that one, I mean, we've already heard that Mario Kart 9 is in the works, except it will, quote, have a twist that we don't know about.
Oh, there's already like a leaked rumor on what that twist could be, but it was kind of convoluted, and I really don't know how to explain it, so I'm not.
Which one was this?
It's the one where there's like 2 different size item boxes, and depending on like if you get a small one, you get a item that's like of lesser value than the one than the bigger box.
And then I've also heard that they're talking about doing some like weird double dash mechanic again, where you can have online multiplayer and have to run the cart from both ends. Like they're basically what they would do is they'd create a turret with which you would launch out the banana peels and the blue shells and everything like that. And so one person would operate that and the other one would drive. Which,
okay,
if that's the case, I don't like it because like I didn't like that mechanic in Double Dash. So that's just me.
I loved Double Dash. They just need to remaster freaking Double Dash.
See, for me, it's just like if you make that optional, cool. I'm all on board at that point. But if you don't make it optional, then I have an issue, kind of thing. So that's my big caveat. Because I just like traditional Mario Kart. That's all I need. So, yeah, Mario Kart 9, I have a feeling will be one of the announcements this year. Kirby also celebrates 30 years, and Kirby just barely had a game announcement. I want to say a week ago that they've got a Switch game in the works. Basically, yet another 2.5D Switch game coming out for Kirby. So, congratulations, you little pink psychopath that sucks everybody up. Except, hey, we can't knock that little pink butterball because he was the only one that survived Kazuya's assault in Smash.
I'm only laughing because I don't think I've ever heard anybody say with such confidence that Kirby is a small little pink psychopath.
Oh, dude, I should show you some of the videos I've seen. Like, it's pretty much convincing. Like, I'm convinced. Kirby is a bona fide psychopath, sociopath, whatever you want to go, because of how he works.
Oh my lord, we have a lot to talk about after the show, but anyway.
And here's the title: Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and it will release this year. And no, it's a 3D platforming game. That's interesting. It's been a while since Kirby's been done in 3D. So those are the 30-year anniversaries. Street Fighter celebrates 35 years this year, and we already are speculating what the big announcement for that is going to be, which is the announcement of Street Fighter 6. And I really hope that is the case, because Street Fighter 5 has been around for far too long. I mean, I like it now that it's complete, but I need a new Street Fighter game in my life. I need that. I have a feeling they'll also probably release their 30th anniversary collection again. That's fine. But yes, this needs to happen. I need some Dragon Punches and Hadokens in my life. So happy anniversary to Street Fighter. And right alongside Street Fighter, my favorite little blue bomber, Mega Man, celebrates 35 years in existence.
Holy freaking crap.
So, Mega Man, the blue bomber, who has gained his own he's gained numerous TV shows. He has a current movie reboot, or a live action movie in the works right now. So we're probably going to get all of this stuff as announced, as well as like a merged thing of all the Mega Man games, and maybe even doing a collection for like the NT Warrior series, probably. And Alex, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. I think it's time. I think it's time. Dragon Shadow Live needs to take on Mega Man 8 and its horrendous dub.
Sounds great.
Yes, for the anniversary. So, congratulations, you little blue son of a gun. You're finally there, 35 years old.
For
And
some reason, I thought you were going to call him a little blue bitch.
I have respect
Son of a
for him.
bitch.
He's a little blue son of a bitch, I'll give you that. Yes, and not only that, this one will be near and dear to Brinton. Final Fantasy celebrates 35 years.
That's so cool.
Now, I've already heard that Final Fantasy 14 is going to be taking full advantage of this, which it makes me it actually has made me strongly consider picking up 14, just because not only is Endwalker based in my favorite Final Fantasy game, which is Final Fantasy IV, but I have a feeling they're going to do a lot of nostalgia content this year for it, alongside the release of Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin, or as Alex and me have affectionately called it, Chaos the game. So that is definitely happening, and I now officially appreciate Strangers of Paradise a lot more because of the fact that it is emulating the first game in terms of story. And so at that, like, they just barely did an unveil trailer where they showed they're basically the Dark Souls equivalent of the Four Fiends of Chaos from the first game, and they are all gorgeous. So I'm already excited for and if you don't know what this game is, Brinton, they are basically going to Dark Soulsify the first Final Fantasy game.
I've been following it. I know what you're talking about.
Yes. As much as I like to make fun of Chaos the game, Chaos! I actually am very excited for it because of the recent trailer that not only announced that they are bringing back the Four Fiends of Chaos and they look gorgeous, but also that they are going to have a job class system. God damn it. I knew that they were going to have a job class system. Dark Souls has job classes. So that made sense, but they've already said that they're going to be doing plenty of things for Final Fantasy XIV. We are going to be, Square Enix has confirmed that we will be getting information on Final Fantasy 16 this year. And 16 is going to be the full-on going into Dark Souls-esque mechanics for the series. So, because the Strangers of Paradise is being done by the same team that did the Neo games, which isn't necessary. It's like Dark Souls, but it's kind of off in its own deal. 16 had developed, like, the team for 16 had developers go to From Software and learn from Hidetaka Miyazaki on how to make a Souls game. So 16 will be the legit departure into that, and people are excited for that. I do know also that the pixel remasters that came out of the first 6 games on PC were also kind of part of this. So I believe that they have finished those up, so you can get not only updated sprites, or you can play the games in their original loving sprites, which, for somebody that appreciates the legacy of Final Fantasy, I can now play Final Fantasy 2 and 3 in their original 8-bit forms, which we could never have done. And I can do it now, and I'm so excited to get into those when I do. So
It's really exciting.
there you go. Those are the anniversaries that the gaming industry is celebrating, and obviously lots of good news for me. I will definitely have to find a way to put in some of these anniversaries for Geek News Game Night, but Sly Cooper is definitely going to be one.
Also the 30th anniversary of Sonic 2 on Sega Genesis.
The original Sonic 2, yes.
Yeah.
And Sonic, well, you're already getting your Idris Elba Knuckles, so I don't feel bad
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
So that being said, we did actually have some discussions here, but I'm actually going to move into the positive stuff, because now that I think about it, this discussion should really be a roundtable. It's basically a discussion into streaming services, and some of the changes that have happened between 2020 and 2021 for them. So we'll probably do that as a roundtable. So let's get into some of the bonus stuff that longtime listeners have appreciated at the beginning of each year. And that is, usually we do the best and worst of 2021, but guess what, boys and girls? 2021 was a shit show, and I'm not going to allow the worst because that's too good for it. So you're only going to get the best from us. So let's go ahead and start this off. Best game that you played in 2021. I don't need to start on that one because everybody knows that I didn't play a single game Metroid Dread ever. Metroid Dread in Metroid Dread 2021. Metroid Dread. I'm sorry. Did my point
So
not get across?
what was your best game of 2021? I could not hold that in as soon as it left my lip.
Metroid Dread. There you go. The sad reality is like I have played quite a bit of Dread, and Dread is a great game. I haven't been able to do my multiple playthroughs yet because, well, work got in the way. Damn it, Nintendo. You released it in October, right before the busy season for my job hit. So I haven't been able to do my multiple playthroughs yet, but oh boy, it's happening.
Just sounds like excuses.
No, we're getting to it. And in fact, I actually enjoyed so much my older brother having so many problems playing Metroid Dread. Because usually I'm the one that goes, bro, fix it for me. And this time around he was like, Drak, fix it for me. So I got to have a lot of those moments.
Fun.
So I'm happy about that. But that was my best game of 2021. Alex, what about you?
My best game would be Blue Reflection Second Light, which is the sequel to the 2017 game.
I created a
think it was
monster, didn't I?
Yeah, 2017. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Because I really don't want to get into too much because I actually do want to do a proper review on my own channel of the game. But I thought it was a lot of fun. It was a great way to kind of expand and also kind of reinvent the game a little bit from the first one. The first one's great too. I loved the first one. I can still go back to it. But I did like kind of the ambition that the second one did for what would just seem like a sort of B franchise that Koei would quickly, it kind of, I think people might look at it like it would just be some kind of a B franchise considering it's kind of secondary to Atelier, which is Koei's big Long Runner franchise. But
yeah,
they put a lot of good effort into the sequel, and you could tell they really wanted to make a great game out of it, and they did, and they made a really excellent game out of it.
Is that how it's said? Atelier? I thought it was like
I think
Atelier
so.
or something like that.
I think it's Atelier. That's how I think I've heard it in some videos is Atelier.
Well, some diehard fan will let us know in the comments section. So
yeah,
I'm
sure
not
they
worried
will.
about that in the slightest. Hey,
They definitely will.
Hey, by the way, all the people who want to write books as comments and the whole purpose of that being that we apparently don't follow every single subreddit that you follow. Well, thank you so much for giving us your feedback. Obviously, YouTube didn't like what you had to say, but I have no problem giving you at least my viewpoint on the matter. That being said, Brinton, your best game of 2021.
So I'm going to preface this by saying that last year is when I left my ex-husband. So I was kind of like, I had my Switch, but for the most part, I was without a gaming console for.
So what he's saying is Metroid Dread.
I actually haven't played Metroid Dread. Sorry. My best, and I can't really make one the runner-up. For me, these were truly, like, really incredible, video gaming experiences that are like on opposite ends of the spectrum. So for me, it was the Medium and the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, the Eidos Montreal remake, or the recent one?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yes.
We haven't finished that yet, so I'll definitely have to see what it's worth.
Both, like, truly both phenomenal games in their own respective right, in
Okay.
their own respective genres. Um, if I could give a little bit more praise, I would like again, this is really hard. That's why I'm not saying one is a runner up. But if I really had to choose just one, I would say the medium.
Okay. I know
The,
I know
the
that's on our list, but I it came out before we had a PS5, so I don't know if we've got it on our we've probably got it on our list somewhere.
like very, very good
Okay.
game. And actually, I'm not good. Doesn't even describe it. Amazing. It was an amazing experience. I was able to play it with my little sister, who I was living with before she moved out to California with the rest of my family, and like, oh my gosh, such a good game. So much replayability.
Okay. So that being said, here's going to be the tough one. So, best film of 2021. And this is going to be tough because theaters really suffered in 2021 because there still was that wariness about being exposed to COVID and things like that, and the streaming services didn't help that process by doing their multi releases and basically telling people, "Oh, go ahead and watch it from the comfort of your couch instead of paying for a movie ticket." I'm sure theaters really appreciated that. I know ScarJo didn't. So at that point, here's what I'm gonna say with this: if you have a best film that came out in 2021, feel free to say it. But if not, no harm done, kind of thing. Because I can totally understand it. I suffered from that conundrum quite a bit. I do have a best film, and I unrepentantly say it was Godzilla versus Kong because people in my chat that praised the MonsterVerse numerous times, and we had a lot of really good conversations. Keep reminding me that yes, in fact, that did come out in 2021, and so Godzilla versus Kong, because holy shit, that was great. That was such a great popcorn movie. So that being said, let's do Brenton, your best film of 2021. Uh oh, Brenton's probably having some issues. Alex, your best film for 2021.
Okay, well, mine's gonna be a for 2021. Obviously, I'm an anime channel, so of course my picks are anime because those are the only movies I saw in 2021. But one would be, of course, the final Evangelion movie, 3.0 plus 1.0, Thrice Upon a Time, as it's called.
Okay.
An excellent way to finally cap out the long-running Rebuild series. Another fantastic way to kind of end the original not the original, this new Evangelion series. Truly interesting to see how much has changed in the 25 years since the original anime has been produced, and see how the movie kind of stacks up compared to the rest. It was a great movie, a lot of great animation, great action scenes, had a lot of fun watching it. So, and my other pick, technically this came out in 2020, I think. I can never remember, but it was Shirobako, the movie, which was the movie follow up to the original series from 2013, I think so, 2013.
Okay.
Which is, Shirobako is all about how does anime get made, and it was always from the perspective of a lowly production manager trying to get her studios to keep on track with their TV series. Well, the movie, of course, takes it to the next step, and now the movie focuses all about how do they get an anime movie made. So it was really entertaining. It was a great way to kind of follow up Shirobako, the series. Still would love to see another series out of it, another season, but I guess if it's going to go out with this movie, not a bad way to go out.
Okay. Brenton, are you there with us?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm blaming CenturyLink.
Yes, because I have no problem with this. Your best
That's
film
great.
of 2021.
Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Okay. I haven't seen it yet, so
I haven't seen it either.
I'll take your word for it, because we're still making our way through the MCU, and so Romney, I know, is still pissed at me because I still haven't finished Far From Home yet, and he still wants to talk that spoiler. So, yeah, I'll get to it. I've already been told by a lot of people like it's one of the best films that came out this year, so I definitely want to get to it. This also is going to be
Great.
another tough one. Best show of 2021, because I can already tell you guys, like, I had a difficult time being able to do it because everything that I watched was old. Like, I banked on a lot of I banked on a lot of nostalgia this year, so I can't necessarily even think of a show currently that I watched because I like all that stuff is in my backlog. So I'm going to politely abstain from this. I mean, I could easily do the Attack on Titan series because I think the final season began its first part in 2021, and that was good enough to make me go and actually watch the previous seasons. So I guess that can be my deal, but I can't think of anything else. And part of me is like, no, the final season happened in 2020. I don't know. Alex, I'm guessing that this is going to be an anime, so
Yep.
take it away.
Big surprise, right? So my favorite series
My
was
heart!
Fruits Basket,
It's
the finale.
stopping. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so surprised. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh my lord.
I like being dead sometimes.
Yep, favorite was Fruits Basket, the finale, the final season after so many years of waiting. 3 with the remake, but probably about 15, 16 years since I watched the original series way back in high school.
We're getting
so
ready to start that up. So
yeah,
start
truly
up the final season.
a banner finale, awesome series. So glad to have seen it come to an end. And also looking forward to the little extra movie that they're making.
Yeah, the prequel movie about Toru's parents. I'm actually kind of excited about that.
Excited for that as well. I'm glad to know that the final season was good because I still got to watch season 2.
All right.
Like I can concur just from watching one season that this is a really good reboot.
Mm-hmm.
It's bringing back all those awesome times that I spent with Alex when I was a sophomore in high school. So
I was wondering about that. So your best show of 2021, Brenton.
So it's funny. It's also an anime for me.
I screwed up. I needed to do another series. I'm sure some people wanted me to say something like, "Oh, did you go around and watch Book of Boba Fett?" No. Did you finally finish up The Mandalorian? No. Did you finally watch Cobra Kai? No. I have way too much of my freaking backlog.
Don't even get me started.
I still haven't finished Castlevania, people, and that one I was super excited for.
Oh wow, that is saying something. My favorite show. So I also want to make another preface. Not only is this an anime, so I found it funny that you both also said anime. Adam, every time you're like, "Oh, this may be difficult for you to like answer," I already knew the answer off the top of my head. So I just found that funny because it wasn't difficult for me to find my answer. For me, it was Jujutsu Kaisen season 1.
Okay. I've heard about this, but I need
such
to
a good anime. Oh my gosh, I could if you want to hear me ramble hard, I could easily talk about Jujutsu Kaisen for hours.
I would love to hear you rant, but not right now because that is on our list, and I'm very vehement about spoilers right now. So
I am not someone who spoils unless you ask me to. I want you to experience it in all of its glory.
Yeah, I'm so backed up in anime right now because people want ever since we started up Geek News Marathon Night, and we did G Gundam, and people were very happy about that. I've got tons and tons of requests for, can you please go watch Attack on Titan the final season? Can you please go watch all the could you please go watch the current arc of Demon Slayer? Could you go and watch Yashihime? Could you go and watch another series that we'll probably talk about in a little bit? And I know Jujutsu Kaisen has come up in that list. Guys, I've just been so busy with everything else. I have not been able to let my brain kind of absorb a new story. Instead, I've done nothing but nostalgia.
So there is a movie coming out for Jujutsu Kaisen, and the story of this movie is actually
that isn't the series that I've seen a lot of the furry community talking about where it's like an animal high school. Is that it?
No.
Okay. Because that one I
No.
wanted to avoid because I heard some spoilers on a podcast and it sounded kind of rapey. So it's like
Oh, that anime is called Beastars, and
okay.
and it like and it really from what I know, it does touch on a lot of very mature topics, but
Yes.
it's all done in a very in an over sexualized furry like manner, so it's just sick and wrong.
Well, and on top of that, like the problem with people recommending this stuff, and granted, some of our listeners are enjoyers of things like hentai, and okay, fine, that's good for you, but I'm married and I have 2 daughters, so watching anime for me right now is kind of hard because now I look at every single chip that comes out with big butts and big boobs, and I'm just like, I feel uncomfortable now. I have kids. I can't appreciate this. And then there's that one part of me is like, and I'm just like, oh. So like some of the series that I want to finish, like say Food Wars, where I've heard that they've got another season in the works, but I wanted to see the end of the arc that they were currently doing. I have avoided because I can't do it. I can't do it right now. I'm too Puritan for anime anymore.
No, Adam, you're just fine. Jujutsu Kaisen's movie is a prequel to to season 1.
Okay.
It's a complete and total origin prequel story. So if you go see the movie first before watching season 1, you literally are just preparing yourself to watch season 1.
Okay.
There's no it's really like I'm gonna go so far as to say it doesn't really spoil anything from the main series.
So
except
this is basically
helping you.
This is basically dot hack Roots for me all over again, and then Alex will get pissed at me because I didn't watch the Roots before we actually took on the Roots game or the GU game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
That was my favorite show 2021. There you go. Done.
All right.
Awesome.
And to just kind of wrap up this podcast, because not only do we do the best, but we look to the future. Now, granted, January 2022 has not yielded very many good things. I mean, Pokemon Legends Arceus came out, so I'm sure that'll be good.
I'm enjoying it.
But there are other things coming out, and so I've encouraged the panel to think of at least 3 things specifically that you are excited for in 2022. And I'm already going to break this rule because I have an additional one that I'm going to point out here, and the only reason I'm breaking the rule is because I'm thoroughly convinced that due to the amount of demand, it will come out in 2022, but a lot of people won't be able to have it until after 2022, and that is the Steam Deck. Because we now officially have a release date for the first batch of them, and that is February 28th. And they basically said they're going to be working around the clock to be able to get Steam Decks out to everybody who pre-ordered one. And man, I hope so. But like, I'm thinking that where I am in line, I'm probably not going to get it until 2024 at this point, because it's just the line is probably so backed up. So I'm throwing that one out there just to say it. In terms, actually, I'm not going to start this one out. Alex, what are things you're looking forward to in 2022?
Well, there's a fair few anime coming up that I'm really looking forward to.
Okay. And you cut out, so I was not able to hear any of them.
Okay, yeah, so
I'm loving our internet tonight.
I know, it's just like
it's great.
The third, for me, I guess some of the titles that are upcoming that I'm really interested in. I'm sure that I'll be able to see this sometime this year. One is Belle, the new Mamoru Hosoda film.
Okay.
Really going to be looking forward to that. That's already in theaters, but I don't think I'm going to make the trek out to the theater. I'll wait to see if it hits streaming. Another is the 3rd season of Kaguya-sama, Love is War, because I've really been enjoying that over the last couple of years. So that one should be fun. There's probably some others that I just can't think of off the top of my head right now without digging through my anime list. So, but
Okay.
yeah, definitely quite a few anime coming up that I'm really excited
Well,
for and
the
looking
Fruits
forward
Basket
to.
prequel.
Yeah, certainly that.
I think it's set for 2022.
Yeah, sometime
So.
this year. So whenever that hits on streaming, I'll be looking forward to that one. So.
Okay. I'm also going to say one game that I was looking forward to, but we have a release date and it's not that far off, so I'm not going to technically qualify it, and that is Horizon Forbidden West. I'm very excited for that one, although I was laughing my butt off when Twitter tried so hard to tell us that Aloy was the first ever female protagonist in gaming to ever exist. Ever!
I remember that tweet, and I don't think I've laughed harder in my life.
People wonder why I have my reaction to Twitter now, and it's just I laugh at the dumpster fire that is Twitter, because you literally tried to do that, and it's just a thread of, oh yeah, by the way, this female character exists. Oh yeah, by the way, this female character exists.
Yeah, as soon as I read that, I immediately jumped into the thread because I was like, Lara Croft, Mrs. Pac-Man, like, are you kidding me? There are so many other people before Aloy, and everyone I was thinking was in this
it was just a cheap ass ploy to. I agree with a lot of people. It was just another cheap ass ploy to make Gamergate relevant again. And hey, look, it failed. It's almost like this hasn't happened the last 20 times they tried to do it. So, I mean, it's kind
of like what we talked about the other day, Adam.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I mean, at that point, I'm throwing out Forbidden West, but we have a release date, so that's not necessarily going to be the game I have looking forward to. But I do know the one that I think me and Brinton are going to share, as well as our other recurring host Shay Tari, and that is the announcement of the Bleach 1,000-Year Blood War arc, which actually has a trailer now. So I'll put that one in for 2022. I'm absolutely excited for that. In fact, we might actually have to do a trailer analysis on that one.
Okay.
I kind of expected you to start squeeing at that point. So, okay. I thought it was CenturyLink again.
No, I'm just, if I had my webcam, I would be grinning from ear to ear.
Yes, this is the arc that everybody has told me that redeems Bleach in a way, and so just because of the amount of exposition that you get out of it. So I'm excited in that regard and looking forward to it. I don't know. I think they're still saying late 2022, but I don't know.
That is what they're still saying.
Mm-hmm. So at that point, there you go. Brinton, do you have any others before I do the rest of mine?
I was also gonna say Bleach, the 1,000-Year Blood War, Jujutsu Kaisen's movie, because I'm just gonna plug it again for like the umpteenth time. Games. I am so, now that I have a PlayStation 5, and have been able to acquire a lot of games for the PlayStation 5 that I was unable to play at release.
Yeah.
I'm gonna personally say I'm looking forward to chipping away at that backlog, but for things that are actually coming out in 2022, yes, I'm excited for Forbidden West. GameStop recently got back in stock their collector's edition, which I had some extra spending money to purchase. So I'm
and CenturyLink kicks back in.
Oh, shoot. Where did I stop talking?
You said you had a bunch of pre-orders for GameStop, I think.
Oh no, I was able to pre-order the collector's edition for Forbidden West.
Okay.
They got a bunch more. I had a little extra spending money and I was like, sure, I'll do it because I didn't think you guys had it. So sure, I'll treat myself, and that's kind of like my last big purchase for a long time because I gotta watch my spending. But the game that I'm really, really, really looking forward to, and I'm like really fingers crossing, hoping it doesn't suck, is Forspoken.
Yeah, that's it's a 50-50 thing for me too, because it
Yeah,
looks like it's going to be good, but what I'm more worried about is when I know some people will get mad at me for this, but I am so sick and tired of woke storytelling, woke character development, and by character development I mean none. That when I see a female protagonist of anything now, I just immediately go, and it's woke, and immediately I'm just like, I can't do it. I just can't spend money on this. And for the problem is that Forspoken's trailers look good, and so it's just
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Like, oh, Brinton loves Square Enix because it's not an American developer. Well, yeah, which is like besides the point. The point is like, well, I guess it's not besides the point. I love Square, and from everything I see, like, oh my gosh, this game looks amazing. But at the same time, in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, it looks really ambitious too. I'm nervous.
and that's definitely something
It
to be
looks
worried about.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that looks really ambitious. And I think that's why Guerrilla really hasn't shown a lot about Forbidden West, except just what's been verbally stated. Because it's like,
a
ooh,
build
that sounds
leaked.
really ambitious, and I'm glad I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, there hasn't been any leak outrage from what I can tell. So the way that I kind of see it is no news is good news. So
Yeah. So that's
the only
why,
thing
like,
I'm going to tell you that I'm worried about with Horizon. Okay, I'm a Horizon fan, but you can probably get where I'm coming from here. I really hope they fix a lot of the weird turns that Aloy would take in her character design, because they had a lot of times where she was very weepy about how her past isn't exactly the way that she wanted it. But the way that Zero Dawn handled it, that I think was brilliant, was whenever she would get into these rants or tirades, you would then get a call from a character named Silence, and he would immediately just basically go, "Psh! Shut the F up! The fate of the world is at stake. Get over yourself!" And unfortunately, he might be the villain in this game. So at that point, he's probably not going to be able to do that. And I really hope they fix that kind of writing for Aloy. Because in a lot of cases, she knows who she is now. She knows what her goal is, and so I'm wanting a little bit more of a direction when it comes to her.
I would love to make a rebuttal, but that's like
Are you
not
saying-
here or there in what
Are
we're
you
talking
saying
about right
Silence
now.
is bad? I will smack you right now.
Oh no, not about Silence, about Aloy. But anyway, so Jujutsu Kaisen's movie, Bleach, Forspoken. I'm gonna go. Oh, and Tipping Away at my 2021 backlog. That's what I'm gonna go with.
Okay. So
In terms of like what I'm excited for media wise, I could go on about what I'm excited for in like my personal life, but that's not really the point of the show. So
that's
all.
not the point. So at that point, some of the things that I'm looking forward to. So in terms of movies, I really don't have a whole lot that because every movie that comes out right now, I'm so superheroed out that and on top of that, I just don't know, like, if you're going to give me the option that it's going to come to streaming in like a month or something like that, I just don't know if I'm going to go to the theater to go see it. So I don't really have any movies, but in terms of games, I will tell you guys, I am absolutely excited for Triangle Strategy. Now that has gotten a March 4th release date, so I'm looking forward to that because it's basically Octopath Traveler meets Final Fantasy Tactics, and I love me some Final Fantasy Tactics. The goriest.
Can I also say how much I love that Octopath Traveler and Triangle Strategy used those names as like a title placer?
Yes.
And then they just ended up becoming the name of the game.
Yep. They just took the project out of it, and it's like, okay, I'm good with that.
I just wanted to make a quick comment about that.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny.
So I'm excited for that. Like I said with the recent trailer, I'm excited for Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. But if I'm going to say things that I'm really excited for in 2022, it's definitely a lot of the games that haven't gotten release dates yet. I'm really hoping that we see God of War Ragnarok in 2022, but I kind of doubt it. or at least something more than we've been given, because I want to see where the story's going to go with that. The other big one is Breath of the Wild 2. Obviously, very excited for that when it finally comes out, especially if we get some major details on the origins of Ganon and whatnot. So
Yes.
that's definitely in the cards for me. Those are two big ones that are coming to me right off the top of my head, and also Spider-Man 2. Now that they've officially announced that Insomniac is working on that, I am totally
I thought
excited
it's coming
for.
out. I thought it was coming out in 2023.
Oh, does it have a 2023 release date? I know Wolverine
Yeah.
does. So at that point, I was excited for that. But if it's 2023, then I'll take that one back, because that one
I mean,
looks like it's going to be good.
I completely agree with you. I mean, if it is 2022, then I gotta really play Miles Morales like
Yeah, I haven't either.
2023.
I've held back on playing Miles just because with Miles Morales, Andrea still has never seen 2018 Spider-Man. So I want it, like, on the stream. So this Monday we're actually gonna do a debut of Spider-Man 2018 to show her kind of the first couple of hours of it, and then we'll do the DLC, because there's a lot of DLC for this, and then we'll do
Yes.
Miles. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to buy enough time so that we're really close to a release date for Spider-Man 2 by the time we get to the end of it. But we're also making our way through the God of War series, and I'm hoping to be able to be done with that before Ragnarok. So yeah, it's complicated, but
It
I'm
sounds like you
hoping.
guys are on a time crunch.
Yeah, there's a bit of a time crunch there, so I'm hoping that we can make it through. If not, then we'll probably just finish those series and then we'll get to it. Because I mean, we crunched Horizon, because she'd never seen that game either, and we just barely got done with Frozen Wilds. I want to say a week ago with the story for it. So
Dang.
we're officially ready for Forbidden West, but it took forever to get there. So
Yeah, I believe it.
because unfortunately, like, we love streaming, but uh we have work and we have kids, and unfortunately kids get sick and we have other obligations, and so we occasionally do have to cancel a stream. I feel bad about it, but we have to occasionally. So that's just the way that it goes. But unfortunately, Alex the Shadow Blazer, I think his internet finally bit the big one, because I don't even see him online at all. And that's all we've got tonight, so we probably better wrap things up for the evening. And Brenton Volley, you don't necessarily have anything to really pimp out, aside from if you want people to contact you on Twitter, but I think you've kind of made the impression that you don't care. So
like I said a couple of days ago in our roundtable discussion, I am an affiliate to Geek News Reviews and Opinions. If you want to ask me anything, even before I left Geek News Reviews and Opinions, you always asked Adam for, you asked me through Adam, so just go ahead and continue doing what you're doing. I like my creativity and everything that I will be doing will be for the show. So if there's anything that you would like me to do specifically, more than happy to take it into consideration, more than happy to take requests, more than happy to be a part of Adam's streams, more than happy to attempt a form of streaming myself. But I'm more or less I am an affiliate to the show.
Okay. And also for Alex's contact information, if people want to be able to reach out to him, you can also go to his YouTube channel. Shadowblazer 3000 is his channel, so make sure to go and support his anime reviews. He really appreciates that, especially since he's not able to put out too many because of work schedules and whatnot. For myself, if you want to be able to reach out to me and ask questions about what we covered, unfortunately, we weren't able to have our live chat for too long tonight, so if you have additional questions, reach out to me on Drak, at GeekyNRO at Twitter. So I've officially taken over the GNRO Twitter account and just used it for my own purposes, because why the heck not? So you could reach out to me at GeekyNRO to be able to ask those questions. And if you want to reach out to me on Instagram, you can do so at Drak2326. Those are the best main ways to be able to get a hold of me. But if you want to be able to support the podcast in its new format, which I know some people might be irritated about, but I hope that you guys are willing to join me for the ride, you can do so by supporting the RSS feed. It's great and all to be able to join us live every Friday night from 10 o'clock Eastern till however long we go. But if you support the RSS feed, you not only get the live stream of the podcast, you get basically all things that YouTube does not, which includes the initial release of everything, because I actually am waiting on putting things out. So Geek News Marathon Night, when it's ready to go, it is uploaded to the RSS feed. You get it right then and there. Geek News Movie Night is exclusive to it, as well as a lot of these Geek News roundtables are going to be exclusive to the RSS feed. So make sure to join us at GeekyNRO or at geekynro.libsyn.com. That is the way to be able to support that. Or you can go to Amazon Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, FM, or I can't remember the FM one. I feel so bad. I'm so sorry about that, guys. And Spotify. We are on all of those platforms, so you guys can support the RSS feed there. You can also be able to reach out to us via stories, via the Twitter links and everything like that. And if you guys have any additional stories that you'd like to suggest for the show or any honest critical feedback, I am willing to listen to your criticism. Just make sure that it's honest, constructive criticism. Otherwise, I might give you a certain middle finger. You can do so at geekyweek@gmail.com. And that's going to go ahead and do it for us this evening. Thank you guys so much for joining us. For those who are not able to join us all the way, thank you. Thank you so much, Brinton, for joining us tonight as the now new third member of the podcast. You were officially the fourth guy of the podcast. Now you're the third guy. You got promoted. How do you feel about that?
Honestly, I'm just really, really, really happy to be back. This
All right.
was so much fun, and I felt like I was just able to slip right back in and just blah 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 blah.
Exactly. I'm very happy about that. So with that, thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm sure Alex would also thank you guys. And I'm hoping to get this up on the RSS feed as soon as possible so you guys can get that, but you will get clips on the YouTube channel, so don't worry about that. Until then, for me, for Alex, and for Brinton, we will see you guys next time for even more geek news, reviews, and opinions.